Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Jackson, Michigan, things seem serene for a pizza place-owning couple until a blood clot, some weed, and a mysterious white box raised suspicions with the neighbors. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on another crazy edition of Small Town Murder. It's coming hard and fast here.
Boy.
These. This is a wild one. Yeah. We're gonna have a ball with this one because it's really, really weird. Quick little bit of house cleaning. Thank you guys for all of your reviews this week on Apple Podcasts. That purple icon there. We do appreciate those. We don't know why they help in the charts and on the business end, but they do. They help drive you up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, please give us 5 stars. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you say. Just say you're following instructions or directions or something. We understand. It's not for our ego. You can't fix us with your words. We appreciate your sentiments, though. Thank you for everything. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
Very important there, where you can get tickets to all of your live shows tomorrow night. If you're here listening to this the day it came out, tomorrow night on August 2nd, we will be in Columbus, Ohio, followed by Cleveland on August 3rd. I don't remember the venues, but you look them up, I'm
Ohio
sure.
Theater in
Ohio Theater in Cleveland. I think it's the Davidson in Columbus,
Davidson
I believe. So,
that's right.
Yeah, there we go. And it jarred my memory.
Is it Joanne Davidson?
Joanne Davidson.
That's
yeah,
right.
that's what it is. So
look at us helping each other.
Look at that. This is why we're a good team, Jimmy. This is why our live shows are good. So yeah, come out, get some tickets to that. There's lots of shows after that. Next 2 weeks after that, we got Omaha, which is sold out. Right. Sorry, and very close to sold out is Minneapolis. So get your tickets now. I think it's on the 15th or 16th or something like that. So do that. that. All those other shows are out there. Get your tickets now. We're going to have a blast at these shows. We cannot wait. If you want to be a hero, one of our producers who we talk about at the end of the show, very, very easy to do that. Extremely easy. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Or you can find both those links right from shutupandgivememurder.com. And by the way, you might say, Crime and Sports, what the hell is that? Why is that your email address? That's our other podcast we've done for 171 episodes and is excessively funny if you have not heard it.
May as well be years, damn it.
It's
go.
years, yeah. So if you have not listened, please listen to Crime and Sports. You don't have to like sports. It's almost better that you don't like sports because we're making fun of these guys pretty hard. So it's good stuff. This week, we're sure Adam Pac-Man Jones will be hunting us down to murder us. We will end up on our own show.
If you guys didn't know, he is an arugula connoisseur.
Apparently. That's what I said. And
Wikipedia does not lie.
Wikipedia agrees with me now. Thank you, guys. We love our audience. This is wonderful.
The greatest.
So thank you for that. And quick disclaimer, of course, quick disclaimer. This is a comedy podcast. It's a comedy show. We're going to talk about horrible murder. Yes, that's true. All the facts are real and everything like that, but we're going to make some jokes as well because we're comedians and otherwise this show wouldn't be that fun.
Right.
You know, it would be murder porn, which is not what we do. Right. We have fun with it. We try to make it a little more palatable. That's what it is. Some of the some shows out there, no names mentioned, no names needed. Some of the shows are very they want to give you every last. They want to bathe in the details.
It's very dark,
and it's dark, and that's fine if that's what people like. But that's not what we're into. Yeah, I mean, we'll tell you the details, but we'll also try to lighten it up around it. But what we don't do is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags.
There you go.
That's how it works. See, we make fun of other things: small towns, police forces, stupid lawyers, murderers,
silly lifestyles.
There's plenty of stuff to make fun of in the world without, making it too weird. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to have a blast. We can promise you that. And if that doesn't sound good to you, if true crime and comedy should never go together, well, you should probably go now.
Run for the hills.
Unsubscribe because there will be jokes. I can promise you that. And so that's fine. We don't want to hear anybody.
Jokes and blood.
And blood. So we don't want to hear anybody bitching later on and saying, they made jokes and writing bad reviews. We don't need that. Go now. No. We'll shake hands, part ways, friends. Have a good one. There you go. But for everybody else who's going to have a good time, I want you to stand up. I want you to hang out of your car window, shout it across the gym and scare the hell out of everybody. Shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this.
Right.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I'd love it.
What do you say? Let's take off. We're going. We'll be in Ohio.
We're traveling so much. We may as well do another.
Let's do it. Okay. We are going this week all the way to Michigan. Look at us. Jackson, Michigan, to be specific. Michigan. I don't know much about Jackson other than what I've studied here, other than I'm sure the roads are terrible. Yeah. Because, good God.
It's bananas.
We were in Detroit. It might as well be the woods. Right. The way how bad the roads are. I've gone off-roading and had it be less fucking bumpy.
It is hilarious. They make all the cars there and you can't fucking drive them because your roads are beat to shit.
They're beat up pretty bad here.
And it's no wonder why their cars are pieces of shit too, because the roads are garbage.
You can't help it.
You make all the parts. Fix your cars too.
I would drive a 1987 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra if I lived there, because who cares? It's going to be destroyed in 3 days anyway. I would never buy a new car.
I would lift it.
So, or you could lift
on big tires.
Well, you're just going to have a tire and a big hole and you're sticking up into the air. So Jackson, Michigan, it's in South Central Michigan. It's about an hour and 15 minutes to Detroit. About 3 hours and 20 minutes to Chicago, and 40 minutes to Webster Township, which is episode 88, our last Michigan episode, October 3rd of last year.
Holy shit.
So we're coming on back to Michigan. It's in Jackson County, zip code 49201, area code 517. It's 11 square miles. It's, whatever, medium-sized town. It's funny. It doesn't have mottos so much as nicknames, and it's known as Prison City.
Really?
So that seems to be, which is pretty fucking fun. That's pretty amusing.
How many prisons it got?
Well, let's talk about how the prisons got there. We'll figure it out.
There's more than one in 11 square miles?
We'll talk about how it got that. Not more than one at the same time, but over the years. It was founded in 1829. It was named after who?
Jackson?
Andrew Jackson. Yeah. Yes, it was.
My man.
Please, if you're first-time listeners, you got to really...
I really got to ease him into that.
Yeah, it's no. He doesn't
Not
mean that.
my man.
Yeah, it's just...
But my man.
He makes a mistake every once in a while.
Because I'm a dummy.
And we call him Andrew Jackson. So
he embraced it.
They develop it into there's a lot of railroads around here. So by the end of the 1800s, people are coming here because it's a hub of railroads, basically. So wherever the railroads go, people go because they can ship goods off, they can receive things, and they can get the hell out of there. The first state prison was built there in Michigan. And now by 1882, it had the largest walled prison in the world.
Wow.
And it had both. It had factory facilities, farmland. They did prisons different in the 1800s. They were kind of more of they had like a work camp environment type thing more than it was like they used to make shit. They still make
license
shit, but it's not the same.
Back then they were building cars.
Probably, yeah. Terrible. Well, in 1882 they weren't building buggies maybe, but so
Ford's first assembly line was.
Yeah, probably. So the first state prison was 1838. It was a temporary wooden prison, which does not seem safe. That seems like a
what?
What is that?
How is that?
That's
it is wood. What?
It's wood. You can kick your way out of it. It makes no sense.
I've seen guys file through metal, and you're talking about you're going to put them in wood?
That makes. I've been to Alcatraz. Yeah, I saw that hole. Yeah. That makes less sense than Spider-Man, which I never understood either. There, he puts a web on you. Okay, totally thwarted unless you have scissors, and then you're free and clear. Like it's a bad weapon.
Fucking hands. You ever walk through a spider web?
It's a little sticky. But maybe you have one of those kid safety scissors. You can cut your way right out of those, like a bright green pair. Yeah. No problem. You won't cut yourself.
A shitload of spider web to stop me.
That's what I mean. I don't know how much he's putting out, but it was enclosed by a bunch of poles. It was built on 60 acres that were donated for the purpose of a prison. In 1839, they got their first 35 prisoners in. Very exciting. And then they built a permanent prison 3 years later. They're like, this is going great.
It's working out.
I love having these guys here. Let's build them a better place. So yeah, they placed more emphasis in the 1850s. They had a warden there that placed more emphasis on education and rehabilitation of prisoners rather than punishment, which kind of the way prisons used to work was kind of heavily based on the warden. Whoever was the warden, that was the god of that prison.
Makes sense.
So anything that was within the law for them to do, they had free reign over. Sure. So if they wanted to be more, we're going to educate and rehabilitate, that's what they'd be. If it was more hard labor and break their balls, that's what it would be. So when a new warden would come in, I would imagine it'd be scary for prisoners because you have no idea.
What's his indoctrination process?
Beatings every night or a college education?
Right.
Which one? That chair with the hole in the bottom of it where they whack my balls, or am I going to study biology?
What on the internet did you go down this week?
There? Who knows? Not that one.
That is fascinating. So, that's the course that they took, is either education and like figuring out how to get them better, because that seems like a better plan than just beating them.
But then people on the outside, it's because then people get angry and they're going, well, why do they get education? Well, I don't get education, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, would you rather just let them, here are the options. You can let them out with nothing and worse off than before, and then have them do whatever they're going to do again,
and also
then
now
go back
set
in.
back because their bills are behind by a long time.
And they've learned a bunch of new stuff in prison from other prisoners. So now they got new tactics going out there. Or you can hopefully, either way, it costs money. That's the thing. Well, I don't want to spend money. Well, when he comes back to prison, guess what that does? It's not free. It's not like you pay the first time and then they pay if they come back any times after that. It still costs you money.
And if you didn't get an education, don't worry. You'll be in here soon anyway. We'll get you one. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's coming to you.
It's crazy, man. So the cheap inmate labor made Jackson one of the leading industrial cities in the nation at the time.
How about that?
So that's a problem there. They had, in 1860s, the corset industry came to town.
Oh.
Jimmie, when you're making corsets, that's when the dollars are flowing. That's when the economy's booming.
Yeah.
This is post-Civil War. Let's suck that stomach in, ladies. Let's do it.
Betting on the rockabilly shit to pay for it later.
We're going to pop those boobs and we're going to slim that stomach. That's what we're going to do in the 1860s. Come on, guys are coming back from the war. Let's look good. Ridiculous. I can't believe
up, gals.
Who the hell ever convinced a woman to put that on?
That's a fucking fascinating fascinating thought. Not just that, but the bustle too.
You're going to be uncomfortable all day. You're not going to be able to breathe. You're going to be constantly sweating under this. It's going to be terrible.
You're going to smell awful.
You're going to feel like you've basically popped out your floating ribs. Is this? Yeah, okay, sure. No,
sounds good to you?
Wow, that's terrible. So,
and we're going to design it to where the way we like you to look. So, fuck how you like to look and fuck how you like to feel. This is what we like to fuck. That's
what
buckle
happened.
It in.
That's what happened back then. Suck it up. Ridiculous. So the invention of the duplex corset by a company called Boartree made them the top corset manufacturer in the world, pretty much. 16 manufacturers in the early 1900s, 16 manufacturers of women's corsets operated here. Now, number one, that's a lot of corsets per square mile. Yeah. Number two, there are 16 manufacturers of corsets back then.
That shit was booming.
How many people make corsets now? I can't, for
sex shops?
Sex shops, I was going to say like weird fashion things, but not normal women, I don't think, are walking around in corsets.
Rockabilly lifestyle and concert attire. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but they had them. Most of them were on 2 streets too, so it was like Corset Row.
Awesome.
Like, that's where they make all the corsets. Elastics came into the manufacturing and changed the design. And after elastics came in, the corset industry went down because it's much more comfortable.
Yeah, much easier to make.
Easier to make, easier to put on. It's not just cramming your bones and organs into one place.
You need a friend to lace you up.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. You had to have a friend, or like you had to hire somebody to help you get dressed back then. It's crazy. So by 1920, pretty much all the corset manufacturers were gone. So wiped out by elastics here.
How about that?
Only 3 of the original ones survived into the 20s, and they changed from corsets to kind of therapeutic and prosthetic things. So they turned it into like a medical shit here. So I don't know. Corsets. Wow. He tried to make, basically the corset shop was open to make skirts and bustles. Okay. That's why it was open. And then they invited the corset. They were making, after that, at one point they were making 300,000 corsets per year, this one company. A year.
That is a lot.
That's a shitload of corsets, man. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. They had a woman-owned corset manufacturer in 1860. And it was had the distinction of being run by the first and only female president who invented the coronet corset and patented it. So that was a big deal back then. The auto industry, obviously, is a big deal around these parts. Yeah. Detroit, before Detroit started making cars, Jackson factories were making cars and making parts and putting them together, basically. So that was even pre-Detroit. This is kind of, car city here, motor city. By 1910, it was their main industry. That's when corsets started to decline, and more than 20 different brands were made here at one point. Reeves, Jackson, Carter Car, Orlo, Whiting, Butcher and Gage, Buick, Janney, Globe, Steel Swallow. That is a terror. That is a gay porn actor. Steel Swallow. He's got an iron jaw.
Yeah, he does.
Wow. Holy shit. I'm sorry,
like
but
the
it is.
Dad in The Incredibles.
Oh, it's just fucking Steel Swallows. CVI, Imperial, Standard Electric, a bunch of other ones here.
I've heard of 2 of them.
Yeah,
and I love cars.
Wolverine. These are all defunct by the Ford drove these out of business with the assembly line kind of thing here. Ye Old Carriage Shop in Spring Arbor nowadays has 60 antique cars and shit like that, and they have 5 one and onlys and 16 cars that were made in Jackson. So they have like an old Jackson car museum.
Cool as shit.
I'd like to see that. Actually, that sounds pretty cool.
It's only 20 cars. We do that in 20 minutes.
That's
Get the fuck out.
All right, out of here.
There they are.
They still make auto parts here. Okay. That's the thing. It's still like Tommy Boy here. Yeah. They're still running Callahan brake pads over here. So, it's one of the largest employers of skilled machine operators in the county. So that's a big deal. And also it was an early site for moped parts. So that's a big deal too. By 1910, they had a whole bunch of shit here. You could make corsets or auto parts. If you needed a job, you came up here, corsets, auto parts. There was a factory job waiting for you tons of people came, not only from the south. This was the Great Migration up north, and that's kind of the second Great Migration up north. So black people came like crazy, plentiful jobs, and it's not the great. Sounds good.
Plentiful jobs, and
fresh
there's
start,
money?
Fresh start? I'm in. Also, this is European immigrants are coming at this time. This is when a large influx of this is, you're getting your Italians and Polacks and all this type of thing are going to be in here. So, yeah, that's right. So,
why is that word so funny?
I don't know. It's just funny. It's funny, and Polish people are always cool and don't give a shit that you say it. That's what's great about Polish. They don't care. They're like, yeah, I'm a Polak. What do I care? What else are you going to call me?
Right.
It's easier than Polish.
That's all you got.
Yeah. Right, Polak. What else?
You know,
what
like I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
All right, I am.
Me
dumb.
and blondes.
I am.
Go
dumb.
ahead, say.
What do you want from me?
I'm a blonde Polak. What else you got?
Usually, I'm more drunk than dumb, but you take it however you see it. They're usually funny like that. That's what I mean. They would say that. So lots of people here coming in and an influx. In 1914, a guy named George Todorov founded the first Coney Island restaurant and created the Coney Island hot dog.
That was the first one.
Topping here. His Coney Island restaurant was by the railroad station there, and it was a 24-hour little hot dog joint. And he sold more than 17 million Coney Island hot dogs in the course of 31 years. And so now there's other ones there that the ones that are there now aren't associated with his original ones. Okay. There's all sorts of ones
they're
here.
Everywhere now.
Yeah. So I guess apparently they have people in this town have their own kind of version of the Coney dog. It's like a thing here. It's a little bit different. Whatever. Who cares? So 1934, a new prison was completed. We need a new one here within the city limits. It took in all of the state's prisoners. It's now not a prison anymore. It's a historic building used as an artist's resident community known as Armory Arts Village.
They always do
where
that.
you can pretend to be a prisoner while you paint, which is, I don't know if that's conducive.
Stupid.
I want to feel, and I want to create.
They always got to feel.
I want to be where male rapes have happened, like a lot of them. Where is that? Just man on man in the shower, just taken by force. I feel just an energy when I'm around that. I don't know what the fuck is that?
Really helps me utilize my browns and reds.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's mainly those. And I dabble in whites, but that's only right at the end of the picture. I don't get into it before that. Mainly just browns. Okay, that was terrible. So
I don't understand why artists always got to do that. Why can't you just paint in your fucking house? Why you got to go somewhere and feel and be
I don't know.
inspired by surroundings? Just fucking put your brush on the canvas.
We're comedians, which is, I don't care what anyone says, it's not really an art.
No.
It's more of a craft than an art. You know what I'm saying? It's
more of an accident.
It's more of just we've been damaged by certain things. And this is really, when they take a bullet after it's been shot and they take it in and they look at the rifling marks and they look at the dashes, the scars, the grooves, and
all the problems.
That's what we are. Yeah. Comedians are like a bullet with a lot of. And you could look at it and you could ballistically check it out and you go, oh, look at those grooves. That came from this. That came from the shitty family. Parents didn't pay attention. Father wasn't around. Gun. I see that one. Okay. Now
I see the alcoholic father and the child molestation.
You can see it all.
This bullet's really gone through some shit.
Kind of a comedian. Whereas an artist, I don't know if it's that clear.
No, it's pristine.
It's a pristine bullet.
It actually just fell out of the casing.
It's like a shotgun ball. Like it's no ballistics on it at all. It just came out. We don't know how it got here, but here it is.
Here it is.
Smooth as can be. So, yeah. Jesus Christ. There's a museum there. It's the only museum where visitors can get a closed cell block on the grounds of an active prison for a self-guided tour.
Self-guided.
So you could just walk around and it's like hang out in the prison.
The point of a tour is to know some shit. What's a self-guided one? I'm going to go in there and figure it out myself.
You go to Alcatraz and you put the headphones on and they tell you shit. Otherwise, you just walk around and you go, guess people were in here.
Oh, look. Somebody stayed there for a while against their will.
Again, I bet there was rape here. That's all you do. Notable people from Jackson, Tony Dungy.
Really?
Football coach, Tony Dungy. Yeah, he's from here. And I found a review of this place. This is a resident review. I found a ton of resident reviews. Not a lot of them are glowing. No. I'll be very honest with you here. But here's one that's particularly impressive to me. It's from last year. It's from September of 2018. The title of this. The heading is, quote, a nightmare town you need to avoid.
Hell yeah.
So that's a good start. I'm intrigued right away.
I'm fucking riveted, sir. Keep it going.
I'm in. What do you got? Let's see. Quote, never, ever move to this town, exclamation point. That's
never, ever.
Never, ever, exclamation point. That's the opening sentence. I was born here, grew up around here, made the tragic mistake of moving back there once and will never set foot there again, exclamation point. Jackson is a town with a black cloud hanging over it. I had to pause for a second. Is he going to say something racist here? I'm like, oh, Jesus. What am I getting myself? I thought I read all this before I wrote it down. What am I doing? Jackson is a town.
Jackson's a town with a black man, and it's horrible.
It's horrible. It had all the blacks in. Jackson's a town with blacks all over the place, and I don't like it. I was like, oh, no. No, Jackson is a town with a black cloud hanging over it, and it's been there for at least the 64 years I've been around, and there are no jobs there at all. Its principal products are bad backs, alcoholism, drug addiction, and divorce.
Holy shit.
Wow. Those are their exports. Wow.
Bad backs?
Bad backs from manual labor, alcoholism, and drug addiction and divorce.
Okay.
Yeah, that all goes with it. Young people move away as soon as they are old enough. I sure did. On everyone's lips is the phrase, I'll be out of here soon. So they 1 star, by the way. He didn't give that. It wasn't a glowing review.
Keeping it true to prisons. I'll be out of here and I'll never come back. You know what I mean? But he did. He went back.
He went back. Yeah. Now, this town, turn of the century, 1900, there was 25,000 people here. Because there was a lot of corsets and shit going on here. By it peaks in 1930. 1930, this is right before, as the Depression's hitting, 55,000 people here in 1930.
Wow.
And then it declines a little bit, comes back up. 1960, there's 50,000 people here, back, when there were some jobs, and then it declines when the jobs start to go in the 70s, the auto jobs, things start to go a little down, and then through the 80s, they decline. And today we are down to 32,875 people. So they've backed themselves into being on small town murder, into being a small town. It's down 12.2% since 1990 and continues to go down every census, a few thousand people here. It's not doesn't seem to be doing great. I mean, you never know. It could shoot up in the next 5 years. We don't know. Female population's a little bit more than the male, but nothing out of the ordinary. Median age here is 32.1, which is 5.5 years under the average. All of the child 0 years old to 17 years old, that demographic, every one of those is high. They're all high. 25 to 44 year olds, that demographic is high, and all the demographics over 45 years old are all really low.
Really?
Like some of them are half.
I think they're just dying young.
I think they're moving the fuck away from here as soon as they can. Nobody retires.
Got it.
There's old people here and there's retirement stuff here, but it seems like people want to it's cold. It's up north. Like those people get the hell out of there. They go to Florida. Yeah. They get out of there when they're old enough.
How close is this shit to Flint?
It's an hour and change from Detroit, so it's not that far.
Maybe they got some shitty water.
Who knows? But it could be just killing these people off. Bad backs and alcoholism and divorce and drug addiction. You don't live past 45 here. 45 and under town. Married population, it's usually 50-50. Here it is 34%. So pretty low. It's a young crowd, so you'd expect that. Yeah. So the currently married number is lower. The widowed rate's about the same, which not what I expected. Single with children, it is 37%. And normally it's 16%. Yeah. So, and single with no children, 15%. Usually it's 10%. Right. So more single people by any stretch of the imagination, but there is a lot with kids. So if you don't mind that, have fun. Race of this town, white is 67%. In the country, it's about 62%. Black, we have 21.8%. Which is way higher than normal, than the average. His average is 12.3%, and way, way higher than our average on this show, which is about 0.002%. So, 0.5% Asian. Just no Asian people to speak of, which is weird for a bigger town that's near a larger city. That's just strange.
Statistic-wise, it gives them a lot more opportunity.
And Hispanic 6.4%, which is about a third of the rest of
That's real low.
The average. So it's very strange here. It's just white and black up there,
or black and white,
however you want to. Well, on the list they show up.
Okay, really? Do they show? Oh, yeah. I got
on a list of from the thing. It says white, black, Asian, Native American, Hawaiian.
That's
Pacific.
How they start it.
Yeah. because
Really?
it's the highest.
Oh, because,
those are
got it.
They're
Okay.
descending in terms
I'm on
of
board.
yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Of population. So 30.2% of the people here are religious, which that's good. It's usually 50%, so they're lower. I like that. 12.2% Catholic. So a lot of other Christian. It's a mixed bag in the Midwest. It's not. It depends on the town and the space. But 0.1% Jewish. So not Jewish.
No.
You can take that out of the mixed bag.
Yeah.
A mixed bag minus Judaism and Islam. You can pull those two right out. 0.0% Islam. Here, last election, about 37% voted Democrat, about 57% voted Republican, about 6.5% independent here. Unemployment rate. And this is where our review comes into play because he's got a point compared to other places. Rest of the country, it's about 4%.
Right.
Here, it's about 7%.
Unemployment?
Unemployment.
Wow.
A little bit. And that's Michigan's got a tough deal with unemployment. And this place is no different.
They've been shaken with that for shit
It's been
since 2007.
Since 1972, probably, I would say.
But the housing crisis really fucked them too.
Oh, that fucked them. But since it was the auto worker thing and the that when that industry started getting shaky in the 70s, that's when that shit. The middle class lost their security at that point,
When
and
they
that's
started moving it out of the country.
people. Well, not only that, they just started saying we can't afford your contracts, your union contract.
okay.
It's a long thing. I've read a bunch of books about the economic
I'd like
70s
to go back
history.
and revisit that one day because I
It's
don't think I've
interesting.
really read it. No, I never did.
It's pretty interesting. I got a few books for you.
I'd love to read them.
That's good. Yeah, you
and
should
that's
check
a
'em
new
out.
hobby I'm doing.
Yeah.
Reading. I really like
I'm gonna
it.
start giving Jimmie reading lists.
This is a lot of
Here
fun.
you go. It's good stuff.
Taking a
You
fucking
can do audiobooks
journey
even.
through,
It's fantastic.
Journey through imagination. It's
Why
a
not?
blast.
Hey, I can see colors. Median household income, $31,000 here. So it's 57, almost 58 in the rest of the country. So it's low. A lot of manufacturing jobs, more than average for manufacturing. Healthcare, social assistance is higher. That's about it. Cost of living, 100 average, regular par. Here it's 85 is cost of living. And the low thing is housing, which is a 55.
Okay.
Median home cost here is $116,800. So it's low. And looks like to me about 70% of the houses are valued at under $80,000.
Oh my God.
Here. So
You don't want to see a house in Michigan
that's rough.
that's
And
80 grand.
If we've convinced you that you do want to see one, we have for you the Jackson, Michigan Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is going to go for about $840, which is high considering the home cost.
Right.
But there's a high percentage of renters here, so that drives it up. I found a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house. It's rough. It's a bit decrepit.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. $29,900.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, it's 1,500. I mean, I don't know, 1,500 square feet for that. That's whatever.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,224 square feet house. This is very nice. Well appointed on 2 acres of lush green land with trees and everything. $135,000.
What the fuck?
Not bad. This one though is the craziest. A 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 5,000 square foot, big brick, nice house.
It's real.
It's real house.
Brick.
It's brick. It's not on it's on like in a lot in a neighborhood. It's a smaller lot. $200,000.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
5 bedrooms?
What? 5,000 square feet. You get lost in that house.
$200,000.
$200,000.
Jesus Christ.
Holy crap. So you can get land or you can get a big giant house for the cost of an average house somewhere else.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. Things to do.
Yeah.
The Jackson County Fair coming up next week.
Oh,
guys, get
now?
on this. And right now.
Dead of summer?
In August, baby.
Oh.
Yeah, back east, that's what they do.
Really?
Yeah, because otherwise it's freezing.
I guess.
Otherwise it's freezing.
But September at least?
It could be cold.
Fucking August.
And sometimes in September it's cold.
I guess.
So you do. Yeah.
I'd rather ride a tilt-a-whirl in a jacket
I
than
would
sweating
too.
my fucking balls
Me
off.
too. But back there, most of the time that you go at night and it's nice out. It cools down at night back east.
Okay.
Except this isn't Florida, but like in the north, in Michigan, it's pretty cool at night. We found. Let's see here, playing here. They got some acts coming in.
Yeah.
August 5th, Jeff Dunham's going to be there.
Oh,
with his
boy.
Stupid fucking puppet, being a complete shitty, terrible comedian.
Saying horrible things through a puppet that he wouldn't dare say out of his fucking mouth.
This puppet says racist shit. Isn't that funny? It's not me. Fucking idiot.
Pay me.
August 6th, Boyz II Men are coming to town on the, quote, What's Left of Them tour. Whoever's Not Dead Yet tour.
Perfect place with their bad backs.
It's perfect. It's like, oh, Jesus. August 7th, Foreigner and Styx are going to be there.
That I will see.
They're both too old to complete their own sets, so they're gonna help out. Okay, you guys come up for a couple of songs. My hip is bothering me again. Johnny, my hip's bothering me. Bring me my wheelchair. Get Foreigner up here.
That's Jukebox Hero going. Let's do this.
Man, August 9th, the Twisted Pea Rodeo.
Oh, no.
It's a rodeo. And then August 10th, the Demolition Derby to close the bitch out. Let's do it. Yeah. I love a demolition derby.
This shit from Dunham to Styx to derbies and
derby.
Rodeos.
Woo-hoo,
this is
baby.
the most rural Detroit shit ever.
So it is. This is, oh boy. You can tell what crowd they're wanting to attract here. Crime rate in this town. Property crime is almost double the national rate, and violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault is almost triple the national rate. Shit is going bad here.
It is dangerous.
Unemployment high, income low, housing costs low, which is good, except the fact that they're depressed because no one wants to live there, and triple violent rate. The signs are going the wrong direction. Yeah. The problem is it might be getting better. Yeah. It might have been way worse 10 years ago. This might be like, well, it was quadruple 5 years ago, asshole. So what do you say to that?
But listen, we've got Jeff Dunham coming to town.
Now Jeff Dunham's coming. So
it's on the upswing.
Fine. Once that puppet comes through, he's going to make harmony with everybody.
Hell yeah.
You know, he's going to make the racist jokes that the rest of us want to make, and then we won't make them. That's how this will work, and then we won't fight and
keep it going round and round.
That's it, baby. You know it. So let's talk about a murder. Let's. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss this is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Let's talk about this interesting little scenario here.
Yeah.
Talk about a couple of people first.
You could have waited a couple of weeks. There's going to be one.
It's true.
And they're fair.
That's a good point. There will be. That's Jeff Dunham's going to kill. He's going to slaughter that crowd with his puppet.
All of them.
He's such a hack. Jesus.
Fucking stupid thing.
Good God. I wish somebody would beat him with this puppet. I wish somebody would take it out of his hands, hold it by the ankles, and just fucking pummel him into incoherence with that thing. You don't have to kill him, just enough so he's not...
Just so he loses that portion of his brain that remembers that stupid shit he does.
Just enough, whatever the portion of his brain that you can damage that will make him forget his act. Make him forget that he does comedy.
Wouldn't that be great if he goes on stage with a brain that's damaged in that area?
He's just talking. He's not even fucking... doing ventriloquism shit. He's just like, I don't like Arabs. And then out of a puppet. And they're like, you move the puppet's mouth, but your mouth just, you said it. You just happen to be holding a puppet. Doesn't mean that it's the puppet.
He just stands there with holds the stick down.
Yeah, that's it.
Like swings it at his thigh.
Yeah, while he says racist things. While he says racist shit in a dumb voice.
That I will pay to watch.
I'd watch that. I would pay to watch that. Only if the crowd didn't know that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I would.
If they'd never heard of him.
If they heard of him and are expecting to see Jeff Dunham, and they show up and they're like, he's not even saying it through the puppet now. I think he's just a dick. He just put it down by his side. He's just a dangling.
The difference is if they're his fans, they'll still laugh because of that. I want it to be people that have never heard of him.
Like, who is this lunatic?
Just shocked. Like, what the fuck am I watching?
Guy just hanging a puppet by his side saying
horrible
terrible things about everybody he can think of.
Saying terrible things about my neighbor.
This is weird. Oh, my God. Sorry to go off on Jeff Dunham. We're comedians, so when something like that comes up, we cannot help it.
Resist.
It's just, you can't resist.
It's too much fun.
So let's talk about a couple of people here. Okay. Let's talk about a couple. Yeah. A nice couple. An average couple, we'll call them. They have a business together. Yeah. They work together. They live together. Good couple here. This is Kevin Lloyd Arts. Yeah. He is ARTZ, Arts.
Hell yeah.
That's his name. He goes by Kip. That's
Good Lord.
Everybody calls him Kip. Which I don't know. I didn't know Kip I thought Kip was a name that you named.
It's a real name.
I didn't know that Kip
is a nickname.
Is it a nick? Yeah. Is that short for Kevin?
I guess.
I have no idea. We'll see. But Kip, and he's got a wife named Patricia. Everybody calls Patty.
Okay.
So you got.
I can see how you can get from A to B there.
Patty and Patricia.
Yeah,
absolutely. Kip and Kevin. I don't know where that came from, but whatever. Kip and Kevin here, or Kip and Patricia. Yeah. Kip is married to himself. It's very odd. Yeah. They get married in about 1987. So they're at the time. Kip is about 31 and she's about 34. Okay. So she's about 3 years older than him. But they get married. Girl. Yeah, they both had relationships before. Yeah. She's had a previous marriage and he's had previous things. And
I can relate.
It's they find each other and they hook up. And so for at least what seems to be a good 12, 13 years, they seem to get along. Uh-huh. They seem to be a couple. Okay. They go on vacations together. There's, pictures of them in Nantucket having a good time and stuff like that. And
they do well.
They do well they own a restaurant.
Okay.
They own a restaurant together. It's called this is a weird. It's called Kip's Pizza and Tacos.
Well, what about Patty?
Patty's not involved in this.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they work together, but I don't know if this was Kip's restaurant before they met, or if they just decided Kip's was a better name.
I'm on board
because Patty makes you think of a hamburger.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I would think of. And we're selling pizza and tacos here, not hamburgers.
What kind of fucking...
What's wrong with you, Patty? Jesus.
Is this the first Pizza Hut Taco Bell combination?
Yeah, he was a visionary, this man. He's a visionary. He saw it ahead of time. He's like, they're going to want terrible pizza and tacos that have been sitting here for 20 minutes. Right. They're going to want both.
Terrible pizza and half-ass tacos.
Half-ass tacos that when you bite, the whole bottom blows out because the meat grease has soaked
the corn, fake corn tortilla.
Corn tortilla. Jesus Christ, whatever that is. It's not, is that meat that they use?
Well, it's something.
Jack in the Box uses some kind of soy in their tacos. It does. It does exist.
You know that.
Yeah. I like Jack in the Box's soy slurry. I think that's a really good, whatever they're putting in their tacos. Whatever smear of shit that is delicious for some reason.
Soy slurry. Is that what it is? It's soy?
It's not meat.
It's clearly not beef.
It's not beef. It's
you
not
take
meat.
A bite. No, it's
soy.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel better because that's soy. Okay.
And I feel less like a piece of shit.
Well, no, I feel like Taco Bell, I'm just shrugging my shoulders when I go they're claiming this is beef.
Right.
But do I believe that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not positive that this is beef. Whereas if that's soy, I'll buy that. You know, soy's cheaper than beef. So
I'm feeling a story of a couple years ago that whatever the filling was in Taco Bell was just a chemical. That's what they called it. Was like the chemical.
Yeah, I'm sure that
it's not beef. That's definitely that was never a living being. From what I'm told.
I don't know what it ever was, but I think they probably created it in a lab, much like you create styrofoam or something of that nature.
Or that like pink sludge that McDonald's calls chicken.
Yeah, whatever they make pool noodles out of, like that shit. I feel like that's wherever they make those. You know what I'm talking about.
Wherever they make yoga mats. Yeah, that's where it is.
That's like a Subway.
Yeah, that shit. That's right. That's in Subway's buns. So, that's a chemical.
It's a chemical. Yeah.
Jesus
but we don't know if that's in Taco Bell or whatever. But I can't identify that as meat. But anyway, these people presumably make real meat tacos and pizza. So Kip's Pizza and Tacos.
Got it.
They're like, of course we're going to name it Kip. Who's not going to buy pizza and tacos from a man named Kip?
Right.
Obviously.
I am neither Italian nor Mexican. Buy my food.
Hey, Kip. How you doing? Whatever.
Right.
They also live in an apartment attached to the restaurant.
That's awesome.
They have like their own on-site thing. It's not a second story. It's a separate thing on the
cool
side.
As shit.
So it's pretty cool. And I looked it up too, like on Zillow. I found it, and it's like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's got a little room in there. It's not like a 300 square foot, like a tenement apartment above a Lower East Side. You know,
that would be shitty.
Pizza place. Yeah, it's not one of those. They're not huddled above there going, we got to make it a food tomorrow. Oh no,
some greasy fuck walks downstairs with no shower, unbrushed teeth, and makes
sausage.
you dinner.
Right. Sausage all over my apartment. I don't know. I can make. Oh no, it's not big enough. And now my wife, she's pregnant again. Hey, see,
you're gonna have another one in here.
I just channeled The Godfather 2, I think, and it was Robert De Niro sitting there. So anyway, they live in this apartment. Now, 1999 comes around. Like I said, they've been married for about a dozen years. Yeah. Everything seems fine. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ever... They're not a problem, or they're just nice people doing fine. 1999 comes around. Her sister here, Cynthia Powers, Patty's sister, and she has another sister named Dorothy. They both said there's no strife between them. They had a Father's Day, 1999. There was a big family gathering. Mm-hmm. They came together like they always do, and they acted like they always do, and there was never a problem. There was no arguing or that. That couples were mad at each other. Let's pretend everything's fine for 2 hours and then get in the car and argue on the way home.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a great thing to get away for the 2 hours and talk to other people because you're like, it can't affect me now. I'm laughing with somebody else. What do you think of that?
I had to go to my kid's birthday party last weekend and listen to it was the most uncomfortable weekend ever, and I had to deal with my ex-wife, and you're telling a story and then she chimes in, I don't know the story. You weren't even there. Shut up.
You're legally out of the story. Thank you.
I signed a document that says you're not in my stories anymore.
No more. You're like when Kramer sold his shit to Jay Peterman. You're not in them anymore. That's it. You're done. That's how it works. Our story. If you tell a story, I stay out of it. I tell a story, you stay out. Our stories belong to us now. That's it. Yeah. It's
the
a
lucky
thing.
part is that ride home was just a fucking smile because I didn't have to. I get to tell stories to myself.
That's what's good.
And nobody in them.
That's what I like. Sarah, my wife here. If we go to things, I can talk shit about other people to her, which is wonderful. That's what you got to find. Somebody where you're both talking shit and planning on when to get the hell out of this shithole. How long are we going to stay here? 2 hours tops. All right, cool. That's the person you need.
By $1.40 into that 2 hours, you're looking at each other going, now is the time? We're going? 20 minutes to tops. We should probably just dip.
You do a thing like you're stirring with your finger. Like that means wrap it up and make your mingle and
I'm dialing
say your
the
goodbyes.
Clock up, baby.
Yeah,
let's get out of here.
You're doing a rotary phone in 1975. You're like, let's wrap it up.
That's my Emily.
Say
can't
your
wait to
goodbyes.
go home.
Bus is leaving.
Yeah.
I had uncle who used to say that. He's an old guy.
Bus is leaving.
He'd say 3 words the whole gathering. He'd sit there and chain smoke. He's hilarious. Sit there and chain smoke, and then when it was time to go, he'd tell his wife, he'd tell my aunt, he'd just go, bus is leaving, and he'd walk toward the front door. She had, from the time he had MS, so he was slow, but she had from the time... From the time he walked to the car and started it up and put it in reverse to get in that car and be gone, or else the fucking bus was leaving and she could find another way home. And I'm like, this guy is
It's a sweet qualifier,
ridiculous.
the MS, though, because then he's like, the bus is leaving. And she's like, count down to minute 30.
Bus is leaving. He'd start gathering his shit. That was it. Boy, she'd be like, oh, goodbye. We're leaving now.
That would be a fun game, though, if you're him, like just sitting there waiting and watching, and then when she sits down with a plate and she takes her first bite, then you go, bus is leaving.
Bus is leaving. Oh, Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
He would say a word. No warning. He'd just be smoking the whole time. And then just, that bus is leaving. It's over. Okay.
You guys call him Uncle Bus?
He was great. He was great. He's dead, unfortunately.
God damn it. I missed you already, Uncle Bus.
He was a fun guy. He told me the craziest story. If you live in the North, you hear stories about the South that scare you, and I'm sure it's vice versa.
Yeah.
But he was telling me that this is a really bad story, but he told me that he was in the military because he was in Korea, and the MS ended up getting him sent home from Korea. Whoa. So good for you.
Yeah. I mean,
he goes,
sometimes you got to count your blessings.
He had it for like 65 years, though.
God, Jesus.
He was still walking at the end of his life.
Best MS he ever got.
Oh, he was not sturdy. You could push him over with one shove, but he could fucking somehow balance himself up to go to the fridge and get another beer. He was great. So he was telling me they were down south in training or some shit. I don't remember if it was Alabama or one. It was a very southern state, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, one of those. And they're driving at night back to the base, and they hit something of what they hit, like an animal or something. They didn't know they didn't know it was pitch black. No street lights. It's through the woods here, not in the woods, but rural street. And they hit something, and so they were like, oh shit, and they pulled over and they were like looking, trying to find it all over the woods they're there for 20 minutes looking around. They didn't have a flashlight. They're just trying to see what they could have possibly hit, because they're, human beings that are responsible.
Because they give a shit.
Want to make sure that nothing, could have been a dog, who knows, a person, God forbid. So, after a little while, a sheriff officer pulls up next to him, and they're in their uniforms and everything, and there's a base nearby. What are you fellas doing here? And they're like, we think we hit something, and we don't know what it was, so we want to make sure it's not, somebody's dog or a person or something like that. And he said, the sheriff looked at him, he goes, get the hell out of here. Get back in the car and go to base. It was probably just an N-word.
Just that.
And
That's
he
all.
said it, obviously, and they were like, huh?
Yeah.
They're from New York, so they were just like, what? No.
Did you say, sir, did you say it may have been something a little bigger? Is that what you just said?
Is that what you said to me? They were just like, are this motherfucker serious?
Yeah.
And this guy was get the hell out. You get the hell out. Like, he was going to fucking arrest them if they didn't leave. Like, you get the hell out of here. Luckily, he said, we're pretty sure it was an animal because it was down low below the hood, but who the fuck knows? And the fact that he said, I thought about that for 20 years. It's like, Jesus Christ.
That's how you know if you're
That's
racist
terrible.
or not. You know what I mean? Because something like that can
and he
affect
was
you
racist. He was racist. He was old as shit. He was racist. But it didn't matter. It was a person that he may have killed. Like, that race didn't matter at that point. You know, it wasn't even a human beingism comes in above racism when you think you hit a human with your car. At that point, it's not a matter of, well, if it's a white fella, I'll get out and help him. That's another level of crazy.
That locked up my ribs.
So sorry to tell you about that.
Ribs usually flex.
Yeah,
I don't think mine did.
This 1953 Alabama politics. So I'm hoping it's better down there now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not. If you're from Alabama, let us know if it's any better down there now. I hope so. So nothing went on here. 2 weeks later, though, they said they talked to Patty, and that was mid-June 1999. 2 weeks later, though, Patty's really worried about their finances because Kip needs surgery.
Oh.
He has to have brain surgery. He's got a blood clot in his brain, and so this is putting a lot of stress on their finances because they own their own business, and it's hard on them. And while he's in the hospital and recovering, they have to close the restaurant also because they run it. So this is now hurting their income, and they have to shell out all this money. So it's like double financial hurt for them. So they end up closing the restaurant for a couple weeks is what they're going to do. June 29th, 1999, Kip is admitted to the Foot Hospital, and he has emergency surgery to remove a blood clot in his brain. So
Foote.
Foote.
Named
hospital.
after. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, named after.
I'm a fucking idiot. I'm like, why would he go there?
It's only the foot.
But he's gonna go to podiatrist for his brain.
Oh my god. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, of course you didn't, because I'm a fucking idiot.
No, I don't see things right in front of me. I'm the type of person that if I'm looking for the ketchup and I open the fridge and it's right in the front in the top shelf right in front of my eyes, I will look for 20 minutes and never see it, and then tell Sarah that she put it somewhere else and that she's fucking with me, and then she'll open and go, it's right here, because it's right there, because I'm looking in the back corner and in a drawer and under the thing and around it, and I didn't even notice that because I'm an idiot.
I didn't know what you were saying. I'm like, why would he go to that hospital? That's a really bad place
for a blood clot. Is the blood clot?
And they have a whole hospital for feet? That's nuts.
People in Michigan, that's the other thing. Bad backs, alcoholism, drug addiction, divorce, and just the feet are terrible. It's everybody. It's those roads.
It's just bunions. And
the sidewalks, too. Every time they walk, it's in and messes your feet up. Fix your roads.
God damn it, I'm dumb.
I actually saw somebody, I can't remember who it was a politician from Michigan, and they were saying they won on a platform of fixing the roads. That was that they ran on, I'm going to fix the fucking roads. And people went, yes. And they voted for that person.
Well, yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Very logical.
I was there for 3 hours and said, your biggest problem is your roads. Well, the drinking water. No. It doesn't matter. Water. You can't get where you're going. Right. So it doesn't matter if you have water or not. You're stuck in one place.
You get roads, I guarantee you'll get somebody out to that water farm to fix it.
That's the problem. How are they going to get there and fix it when it's like going up the side of a mountain? Mud bogging
down a goddamn road.
So he's in the hospital for a week with this emergency surgery, and apparently he wasn't doing splendidly when they let him out. They let him out on July 6th, and his sister says, quote, he should have never been released from the hospital, and we were all worried sick. They said that when they let him out of the hospital, he was still out of it.
Yeah.
And she said, quote, he didn't even know who Patty was.
Ooh.
So he didn't even recognize his wife, is what the sister was saying, what Kip's sister is saying about this.
Yeah, brain surgery.
He had a brain surgery, had a blood clot removed. I had an aunt that had this, the same type of thing, had a blood clot removed like that. So, it's a scary thing.
Yeah, blood clots is not like a little dot of blood. No. It's long.
Yeah.
It's like a string.
It's rough.
It's bananas what it is. It's in your artery or in your blood flow area.
Yeah. And now I'm paranoid. I'm sure I have 12, 13
I'm
of them
terrified
floating around
every
in my
day.
body. Yeah. So his other sister here, Susan, his sister Susan is a nurse. She's a nurse actually in Phoenix at the Neurological Institute there, the St. Joseph's, whatever the hell that is.
It's a great hospital.
Yeah, she works there.
To fix my hand.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
not the neurological part, because that would be the brain. I went to the hand side.
The hand side. Not the hand hospital.
Right.
Yeah, with an E on the end. The hand hospital.
Damn it.
She says that she was angry that her brother was released from the hospital. She says that she didn't think that he was ready to be released, and the only reason that that he was released is because he didn't have health insurance. So they said, well, you're good enough.
Yeah.
So there you go. Have a good one here. She also said that, like, they just said, here you go, here he is. And, like, he didn't know where he was, and he was all out of it. They said they didn't warn them that, hey, he might act a little weird for a while because we were just poking around in his noggin.
Right.
So that shit happens.
Don't turn the microwave on for a few days.
It's going to be weird. Yeah. So also, in order to do the surgery to remove this blood clot, the doctors, because it was an emergency surgery, it wasn't like it was a planned thing. He was on Prozac at the time for years. For depression. Kip? Yeah, Kip was on Prozac for years. They had to stop the Prozac immediately.
Right now?
Completely, not a wean off.
Yeah.
Right now, and then do the brain surgery. Eesh. So when you come out of that, you are in a non-Prozac, just had your brain surgery fog.
Now you feel.
I would imagine that's a weird fog to be in, because there's been a lot of research on stopping those antidepressants, especially Prozac.
Prozac for sure.
Cold turkey, and it's not good.
No.
Your brain does not react well to that, and you tend to get, a little reactionary. We'll say you can't control your emotions.
Can have some freak out moments.
Some freak out moments here. But still, for them, though, they were, they were doing fine. Except for after the surgery, friends and relatives said that he acted strangely, Kip. He started acting strangely after the surgery. Was just off. Like, after a while, he knew who Patty was and stuff, but like after a few days, but he was just off. There was just something like, he's just not all there. It's almost like if somebody got hit in the head and you're just like, yeah, you're right. And you're like, I'm Batman, like on a Snickers commercial. You're like, okay.
You're all right. I'm fine. Why? Your dick is out.
Yeah.
This is weird.
You're picking your child up from preschool, so it's inappropriate here.
You have forgotten pants again. Yeah, that's why.
Jesus Christ.
That's why we're asking.
Yeah. So, and now the restaurant's closed. So now it's been closed. It's going on 2 weeks as we go into
no income.
The second week of July. That's no income for 2 weeks, and hospital bills are going to be flowing in. This is rough here. Now Patty's real close to her family. She talks to them on a daily basis. She's got sisters. They talk all the time. She's always talking to her family. So, July 15th comes around, and Patty's sisters and her father are trying to contact her like normal, and she doesn't get back to them. So 2 days go by with no response. And this is not normal for Patty at all. They just, every day they talk, whatever. So, especially now, the restaurant's not even open. So they're like, okay.
She's got all kinds of time.
Yeah, she's not busy. If they could have, if the restaurant's open, they could have just called and ordered a pie.
Right.
Or some tacos.
Can you deliver a large pepperoni and some of your time to talk?
And, yes, can we discuss... We discuss the Labor Day party we're going to have. So after 2 days, her sisters and her father, or her sisters and Kevin's father, Kip, we'll say Kip. Her sisters and Kip's father go to the restaurant and knock on the doors and windows. So you guys in there? What's going on here? At one point, Kip comes out. He pops out after a while of knocking, and he says, Patty took the car, and she went to visit somebody. We were bickering, and she just got in the car and took off. Okay. She's gone.
Probably on her way to your house.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. She was pissy and the car's gone. Now, the sister didn't believe him because she knew for a fact that 2 days or 3 days before that they just sold the car.
Oh.
So, because her sister told her.
Well, that's a loopy thing to say.
Yeah, her sister said we just had to sell the car because we need money and because the restaurant's fucking closed, but he's saying she took the car and went. So they're like, how'd she take the car that you just sold? He doesn't know that she knows they sold the car.
Loopy, sir.
Yeah, sir, are you out of it? So it's at this point that they start to they're like, well, this is weird. He's lying to us. We know that. So Patty's sisters call the police. They say, we're going to put in our missing persons on our sister. Even if that's true, then she's been gone for 2 days.
Right.
So either way, the police need to be notified here. So there was a Deputy Sheriff Wayne Bissard. He's the first to respond. He's dispatched to Kip's Pizza and Taco here. Like I said, restaurant's been closed. He, shows up. He says, sees a restaurant, sees there's an apartment on the side, and kind of assesses the whole thing here. Now, Kip comes out and talks to him because he's knocking on the door. And when the police knock on the door, you generally answer.
Tend to open, yeah.
So now this Officer Bissard here, Sheriff's Deputy Bissard, he looks around the restaurants. he saw no signs of Patty anywhere. He's like, I don't see Patty. She's not like, tied up in the back or anything. But after he asked Kip when's the last time he saw her, and this is what makes him suspicious of Kip a little bit. Kip says that the last time he saw Patty was when she left in their car. That's it. So, whatever. And now he is all, Kip, this officer's been told that the car has been sold 3 days ago. So right away, he's like, okay, that's his story, but it's bullshit. And he's lying to me too. So that's a problem. Apparently, this guy said, well, do you mind if I just take a look around the restaurant? Just let me make their sisters feel better that Patty's not trapped in here or something like that, So apparently after some cajoling, Kip finally agrees to it. Okay, fine. You can look around the restaurant. So after he does a quick look around the restaurant, he just feels like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Bessard, this Deputy Bessard, he's like, I don't know, something's off here. You're good, Kip. Have a good one here. I'm going to be back in a little bit, but just hang tight. We're all good. Don't worry about it. So he leaves to talk to his supervisor, this cop, because he doesn't know how to handle this, because he let him look around, but to poke around any further, he doesn't know. Yeah, he does, because he doesn't know, what do I have to see to be able to just do something, and what he's not positive, and he doesn't want to fuck a case up, basically, so especially with a missing person involved. So he returns later with a detective, Detective Thomas Fierro. He's going to come in. Hey, I got this. Deputy, take a fucking breather. I'll take care of this. Tommy Fierro, nice to meet you. How's it going? How's it going? Good to see you. He comes in, he goes, this fucking pizza's terrible. I'm going to be honest with you. I know pizza.
He called his pizza.
Sir, you make a shit pie. Baker's Pride Oven. 3 fucking words for Baker's Pride Oven. That's how you do it.
What is this, DeRosa's?
No, it is a Cincinnati shithole DeRosa's. The worst pizza in the United States of America, and it is. A wet sock atop cardboard found in a dumpster. Not even in a dumpster, beside a dumpster. They took it and they went...
Thrown at the dumpster.
Hey, I could put a wet sock on this cardboard. We could sell it as pizza. It's a good idea. Yeah, do that. It was $14.99.
I'll throw it against the dumpster out back.
Yeah, just to get, really get some... I want to get some dirt on it.
I want to mix it together.
If there's bum jizz laying around, I want that to get in here. Really make it tasty. You know what I mean?
Good Lord.
Fucking disgusting. So, Fierro comes back, and when they come back earlier than they said they were going to come back on purpose, so they could scope it out from a distance. They're scoping it out. They park kind of across the street, and they're like, all right, let's see what he does. Let's see if he does anything. After a couple minutes, they see him pop out from around a corner. He's got a white cardboard box in his hand.
Yeah.
White box. A few minutes later, they see him walk around a corner with this box and disappear. A few minutes later, he comes back around the corner. This time, no box.
No box.
No box.
Okay.
It's a little...
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Yeah, it's a very what's in the box moment. So they're very intrigued about this. So they go, let's go talk to him. What do you say? That's weird. Okay, let's check it out. So
Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman sitting in a car around the corner.
That's what's happening right now. It's a definite what's in the box here. So they go in and they say that Kip was nervous and confused when they met him. They said he was just kind of off and
talking about how much he envies the cops.
Yeah, guy's the best. So they said that Kip claims that he sticks to his story. He says, look, I got in an argument with my wife. She'd gotten the Lincoln. They had a Lincoln. They got in the fucking Lincoln and she drove away. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. That's all I know. I'm here with the pizza. I don't know. This is it. So, then they said, but we were told that you sold the car last week for money, and he didn't have a real good answer about that. And Fierro, Detective Tommy Fierro, he said, quote, he was very careful in thinking about his answers. Nothing was, where did she go? She took the car and left. It was very measured and very, making sure I'm saying the right things.
Right.
So then he lets both of them into the restaurant, Kip does. He says, all right, guys, fine. You can come in and look around. Once inside, the detective notices what resembled blood on newspapers by the oven.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, a pan of what they called, quote, cooked material in the sink. They didn't know what it was. It was just like a pan of cooked food.
Yeah.
Something unidentifiably overcooked and in the sink. Water was running into the pan at the time of this, whatever shit was on there. Now, Fierro turned off the water, Detective Fierro. While doing so, he says that he recognized the smell of burnt flesh.
Gross.
Which is a disgusting smell.
It's the worst smell you'll ever smell.
Don't want that. Yeah. Before you really make a good cut and season it, meat smells terrible. And people meat would be grosser than anything.
When I blew up my hand, I know what that smells like. It's the worst. The closest. So I was in line at the post office getting our P.O. box stuff. Yeah. And there was a man behind me wearing like Vietnam gear, whatever. Yeah. And he was just talking to me, and he just kept talking to me. So I told him thank you for what he did, whatever. And then he said, "You ever smelled burnt flesh?" And I was like, "This just got real fucking weird." But actually, I have. Yeah. So we had a quick conversation. I was like, I blew up my hand when I was a kid, and I showed him my hand, and then I was like, the closest I've smelled to it is when the dentist drills your teeth, and he goes, right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking creepy. I want out of this conversation.
This guy's got bad shit happening that he's thinking about right now.
But it's true. That's the closest that you'll get to it in without burning flesh.
Yeah, we hit a deer one time. Yeah. It was dead in the road, and it was in the road. It was at night. We went, oh shit, me and my friends, we were like 18, and we decided couldn't go around it either way because it would have hit with the tire, so we had to try to straddle it. Yeah. And instead it
burned it with the fucking exhaust pipe?
We took off. Oh, God. It wasn't, the car wasn't tall enough. Yeah. So a layer of the deer ended up under the car. Oh, my God. Which, after you drive about 5 minutes, was cooking this horribly decrepit deer meat. So then we had to pull over and with a stick it was the grossest thing I've ever done. Happy 18th birthday to me. It's on my 18th birthday. Yay. Here I am removing burnt deer flesh with a stick in the woods.
Can't smoke enough weed in this car to make that smell go
We
away.
tried. We honestly did, too.
I believe it.
We were smoking cigarettes and weed, whatever the hell we could. Anything.
Unbelievable.
It was terrible. It felt like Henry Hill and Goodfellas. I hit a skunk, Karen, all right? Jesus. Fucking terrible. So, yeah, this is bad stuff. Water's running into the pan and the burnt flesh. It's at this point they're like, okay, hold on. We don't know what's going on. I smell burnt flesh. There's meat of indeterminate origin meat here, blood drippings. It is a restaurant, so meat and blood drippings, whatever. But the burnt flesh smell, that's not
what kind
normal.
of tacos you making here.
Yeah,
sir?
This isn't Jack in the Box, mister. So what they do is they back out of here and they start looking around the premises and the property. They want to know what's in that box. They go outside and they find the white box pretty quickly. Yeah. It was on the front porch of a neighboring home. There's another home right next to him. Yeah. And sitting on the front porch right there, like Amazon left you
a delivery,
like an Amazon package, was this white box. Mm-hmm. So they go, well, let's go get that white box. Inside the white box was a charred and severed partial head.
Oh my God, it was an actual head.
It's part of a head.
It's really 7.
Oh, it's 7. It's skull pieces.
That is bananas.
Burnt and charred skull and head pieces.
Delivered to a friend.
You just put it next door.
What the fuck?
On the porch.
What, are you framing them?
That's Amazon. They won't look twice. That's what you do.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Prime.
I didn't order this. I did not order this. I better someone's going to want this. They're going to be missing their head.
What?
Return to
shit?
Sender. So yeah, at this point they go, okay, that's a new development. That could be Patty. Yeah. This is a problem. Then Fierro said that he noticed a 30-gallon trash can that seemed out of place in the house. Yeah. Because most people don't keep those in their house.
30 gallons is a lot.
It's a lot. Also, strong smell of marijuana. When he entered the residence. Fierro then leaves. They go outside to talk a little bit more about this. The two cops do. They're like, oh, there's like a head in the box. He's in there. This shit's getting weird. What do we do here? They go back in, and now Kip is lying on the living room floor. Mm-hmm. Now he's just like
sprawled
out on the floor. Yeah. So they're like, what is he doing here? So anyway, they said, we opened the box and we found, a head in there. It's a problem. Yeah. And they said, quote, he sat right up. Really a strong reaction. He said, you are trying to trick me. He began to cry. He was very upset. That was what the cop said. So he said, you're trying to trick me, and freaked out. Uh-huh. And
no, I swear it's a head.
They said, I'll tell you what, I'll prove it's not a trick. I'm charging you with first-degree murder. We don't do that willy-nilly. We don't do that for fun.
Surprise!
April Fools, that never happens.
Isn't this crazy?
You're charged with first-degree murder. April Fools, never. No. Never once has happened. No. Never to me anyway. So they Jesus Christ. They investigate this whole thing. They called it a skull portion in the box. You know, he was selling it, and maybe it was an extra value meal. There was fries in there with it. Normal taco thing. They do a 12-hour search of the property and everything because they're like, well, we got to find the rest of her because it's probably somewhere. They turned up all sorts of other body parts. They weren't, but they could never be sure whether the entire body was recovered because it was, as we'll talk about this, we'll talk about the state it was in. But 2 weeks before this, body parts of another woman were found in Ann Arbor. But that was a totally unrelated thing. They arrested the guy who did it. It's a totally separate thing. But at first they were like, oh shit. Then they figured out all that they had nothing to do with each other. But they said, this is Fierro here. He said, quote, I recognized burnt flesh on the counter, which is fucking disgusting. Yes, he said the cooked flesh, the box with the damaged skull. They said they sprayed parts of the house and restaurant with luminol and said that it was everywhere.
It just glowed.
It was the entire house, basically. Quote, the kitchen was overwhelming.
Oh, boy.
He said you didn't, the glow, the blue glow on the floor and counters, quote, you didn't need the lights on.
Unbelievable.
That's how much it glowed from that much blood. That's a shitload of blood. A pathologist testified there was too few remains to determine how she was even killed at one point, but they believe that their theory is that he killed her in the apartment by hitting her in the head with a metal bar, they think. He then placed her body inside a sleeping bag and took it from the apartment into the restaurant area. And once he was in there, they said he cleaned the living room area of the apartment, washed the carpets, the couch cushions, really did a cleanup job. Like, he didn't just fucking, this was a cleanup job, like an organized cleanup job. He also moved furniture to cover spots on the carpet that he couldn't get stains out. Luminol tests in the apartment showed blood everywhere. It was the heaviest on the carpet near the couch. That's where they think she fell over. Patty's DNA was found on the dining room table, on the tile in the apartment, on the restaurant floor, in the restaurant sinks, in the sleeping bag, and in his fingernail scrapings.
God damn it.
Everywhere. So they believe that he
did they look anywhere else, or was that like seems like they found it everywhere they looked.
That's all it was. It was everywhere they looked.
Unbelievable.
They found a bag with 40 pounds of bones and flesh.
Oh my God, he took her apart.
Yeah, he like boiled her down.
Wow.
This was a bag of 40 pounds of bones.
Holy shit.
I don't know how much your bones weigh, but probably not a lot more than 40 pounds. Probably like all your bones. Bag of all the ones he could figure out. The bones and some flesh in there also.
Depends on how big boned she was.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, she could have been big boned. But he dismembered her and then baked or broiled or cooked the remainder of them.
The pizza oven.
Did all this. They think that he cooked her for about 40 hours.
Wow.
In some cases. There was meat in the oven that they think had been cooked for 40 hours.
That is so long.
It's so long. So this, obviously, people freaked the fuck out a little bit about this. They talked to a few of the neighbors and people that know him. This guy named Alex Lazaroff is an 18-year-old kid who washed dishes at the pizza place there. So he said he was friends with the couple too. He said he never saw them fight. He said, quote, he loved Pat. He loved her with all his heart. He's not sure what to believe here. He says he's not sure if this was the brain surgery that caused this, or, quote, if he had some other dark side he never showed anyone. He was
marijuana.
That marijuana. The neighbors were shocked, too. One neighbor said, quote, it's pretty creepy. We were sleeping in our beds, 100 yards away while he was doing that. I don't know. We were pretty upset about it. Even now to this day, it's kind of hard to think about it, thinking that she went through that. So, yeah, that's right. Another neighbor said the cops were never called there. We never heard of any domestic violence or repeated police scenes there at all. They just didn't know anything about it. They were grateful, though, that somebody else bought the building and were planning on making it not a restaurant anymore. You can't ever eat there again. No food can be prepared ever in that place.
Tear it down.
You raise that fucking place. They don't, though. They
really?
No, we'll talk about it.
What the fuck?
I'll give you an update on the building later on. And it's not an artist colony. This is good. It's not man-on-man rape, but it's got a vibe of depravity and violence, though. It's good. I like it.
I really got to get one with the victim.
People suffered here.
Yeah, I can feel it.
I can feel it. I like that.
40 hours at least.
You know how that goes. So... Whoa, The forensics on this thing, only the bones, a broken skull, and a few pounds of cooked flesh remained. This is the way they put it. They said DNA evidence from a tooth proved that it was Patricia was the victim. Although there's no question it was her, but that's their, so they can't come out and say, how do we even know it's Patricia? He could have been killing some other woman. Another pathologist here, a pathologist, Dr. Ruben Ortiz Reyes, said he pieced together a skull and lower leg bones of a woman who before that had been hacked up with a hatchet, and he said there was too few remains here, even less here to put together. They think that Patty was cooked for over 40 hours, and that would still be better than any pizza made at La Rosa's, like we said. I'm sorry. It's better. You could cook a pizza in that oven today, and I'll eat it before fucking DeRosa's.
It'll probably be better.
Or La Rosa's.
Yeah. La Rosa's, right?
Yeah, La Rosa's.
Yeah.
I would rather have a corpse pie.
I'd rather eat a corpse.
I'd rather have a little bit of flesh on top of it in place of meatball. So, also a small amount of weed was found in the apartment.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
There. So the mental evaluation, obviously they want to do this isn't normal behavior.
No?
We'll say. And then
a little rare,
a little weird,
a
little aberrant, we'll say. And then the defense attorney hears that 2 weeks before that he had his brain poked around on. So they want to get him checked out. He gets sent to a state psychiatrist here and everything. And the state psychiatrist on the prosecution side says that he is competent to stand trial. They said an arts family psychiatrist also said that that they hired said that he understands the charges and is able to assist his defense attorney. And his name is Joseph Phillip, and we'll talk about him because he's a fucking idiot. And he's a judge now. This fucking idiot.
It starts like that.
Oh God, this guy's an idiot.
It's the best story ever. I already know it.
This guy is such an idiot. Not even for his trial, for his later shit. One of the doctors says, quote, he said he remembers trying to dispose of her body. So there's that. This is Dr. Gerald Delgado. He says that his memory of events, Kip's memory of events since he had brain surgery, is diminished and often requires verbal reference. You have to remind him, remember this, and then you went here. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But he doesn't remember it at first. So another psychiatrist said, quote, he's able to converse in a logical, rational manner. He's able to give a description of the events in question. So they're saying that. Now, there's a priest that came to visit him in jail at his request. This is a shaver, a Father Shaver here. He says that he's never called a trial, by the way, but he says that Arts confessed to him in jail, told him about it, and Arts told him, quote, I didn't know it was Patty, is what he said. And we'll talk about what his claim is. He says that he uses it. He said it. Later on, he'll say, I didn't know it was Patty. He's talking about a hallucination that he had. This is what he's discussing here. Now, this shaver, the Father Shaver, he said that Arts told him, quote, that Arts, quote, described being asleep, being jolted, being terrified, and striking out with an object that was near to him. And Shaver said, quote, he had the strong sense that Patty was just a presence to him. I just remember that Arts felt this presence as he was waking. Now, he says, he will say at this point, Arts, that he woke up and claimed that Patty was a demon before him.
And that's Kip?
Kip says this. Right. Kip says he killed Patty because he woke up, she was there, and she wasn't Patty, she was the devil.
Okay.
He saw a demon devil in front of him and said, I better hit this with a metal pipe, as you would if a demon devil popped up before you. Yeah. You would whack it with a pipe. And he said that's what it was, and then he whacked it with a pipe, and then after it was dead, it turned back into Patty. And then it was like, no, the devil couldn't really, he's a shifty bastard.
Wow.
Look what he did. Yeah. Now I'm in trouble. So that's his claim here. That's what he's going to go with.
Okay. Not a good defense, but...
Not a great defense, but if you just had brain surgery 2 weeks before, it's better. It's a better defense, especially he's never been in trouble in his life. There's not been he's been beating the shit out of her for the last 10 years. This is like, everything's fine. He has brain surgery. 2 weeks later, he's cooking his wife for 40 hours and putting her head in boxes on neighbors' porches. They have to, it seems like they were just on, you know what I mean? Just on just basic cause and effect or just basic coincidence. You would imagine that's probably has something to do with it. Yeah. I would imagine. So this is what I would like to call the dude, what the fuck moment. Every moment in every one of our stories, there's a moment where it's just like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, this is where we're at now. Yeah. He's killed his wife. He's done all this shit. Now he's saying she's a demon that he had to beat with an iron bar. This is a good what the fuck moment. The prosecution says, oh no, this was premeditated, deliberated, the whole thing. That's their thing. They say that the prosecution says they have evidence that Kip and Patty had marital difficulties. They say in 1992, Patty consulted with a divorce lawyer telling him that there was physical and emotional abuse in the marriage. Now, that was the last anybody had ever heard of that was 1992. Yeah, 7 years ago. So we don't know we have no idea if that just went under the radar or if there was abuse or the abuse got worse or we have no idea. They said that the prosecution also contends the marital difficulties continued after that time. They say about 2.5 years before Patty was killed that Patty told her friend that Kip tried to suffocate her with a pillow. Okay. So that's a thing that they bring up. They also say that there is ongoing tension in the marriage because of Kip's use of marijuana and alcohol. Okay. The Patty was especially upset that Kip was continuing to use marijuana after his brain surgery, which let your brain clear up first.
It's also Jackson. There's drug addiction, alcoholism everywhere.
Oh, and bad backs too. His back is all fucked up. But then again, if my head hurt from brain surgery, I'd probably want to smoke some weed.
I'd probably want to do a lot of things.
Probably better than Percocet. So anyway, that was a problem. They say that was a contention and that was a big problem here. They said that when he got home from the hospital, he returned home, he immediately went and smoked a joint. That was what he said. That's what she said. Or that's what the prosecution say. They said this angered and concerned Patty, and Patty was always on the phone, and that was a source of tension between them also. I guess after the surgery, he got like suspicious of her on the phone out of nowhere. He was just like, what are you doing on the phone? Who are you talking to? This when he came home from the hospital. Jesus. Before that, it wasn't like that, apparently. So, but they say the main, and this is a big one, Jimmy. Now, everyone can relate to this.
This is a big fight?
This is the big one. This was the main big marital difficulty. They were at odds over a pig roast.
Yeah.
So,
like whether to have it or not?
Well, no.
Okay.
He had a pig roast, and apparently this was over the edge. Apparently,
she loves pigs.
How many times have we?
What the fuck?
And this is 130 episodes. This is episode 130. We've never had someone, even a prosecution, claim that someone murdered someone over a pig roast argument. This is a new level for us right here. Apparently, that Kip had a pig roast 9 days before he went into the hospital. And the Patty was pissed off about the pig roast because she didn't want all those people over, and it cost money. And she was mad that he was spending money and having people over.
Yeah, because we're selling our car to make ends meet.
Well, that's after the surgery.
A fucking pig roast?
This is before they knew he had to have surgery.
Okay.
This is because it was an emergency surgery.
Oh my God, this shit carried on for.
They had money troubles before that. Yeah. But I mean, this is what I mean. But this is just a typical marital thing. He did something, she didn't like it, and she spent money that he didn't want. That's what happens. It happens. It happens. So yeah, exactly. So she was mad. Apparently, Jesus Christ, the corn that he bought for the pig roast had bugs in it.
Oh, for Christ's
sake. And these bugs infested the kitchen restaurant.
What?
So that's the other reason. It's like you have this pig roast.
The kitchen in the restaurant is now infested with bugs.
Now infested with bugs from his pig roast corn.
Oh, so God damn it.
She's mad that he had the pig roast to begin with. She's mad he spent all his money, and the shit that he spent money on infested the restaurant with bugs. So
God damn it.
She's super fucking mad at him, as you can imagine.
And she's got ground to stand on now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And apparently they tried to fumigate the restaurant themselves, some home fumigation, which, that's normal. People do that. He was convinced at this point that the exposure to the bug spray triggered his brain hemorrhage. That is his strictly non-medical theory of cause and effect.
All right.
Basically, it's so weird when you, and this is medically, they talk about this all the time. People make diagnoses on themselves based on cause and effect when they have nothing to do with each other.
No.
It's just a coincidence because people's brains look to
they got to find the blame.
You look to compartmentalize things. Right. You look for, if there's a cause, you look for where's the effect. Right. I need to know it. I need to know why something happened.
I need to fix this.
You make shit up.
Especially when you need a solution for something.
So you make shit up in your own head, basically. So he told several people of his belief, and he indicated that his hemorrhage was Patty's fault because she sprayed him with bug spray.
Oh, God.
So Patty and her fucking shit bug spray sprayed him, gave him a hemorrhage, blood clot surgery. Next thing you know, here we are.
Oh my God.
That's what he told people. Now,
what is he, smoking weed or something?
Jesus. What has he got, brain damage or something? Somebody poking around in his brain with a scalpel or some shit? So
this is unbelievable.
His doctor's assistant, who was his regular doctor, saw him a few days before. This was like a checkup on the surgery, a few days before the murder. And he says that at this point, Kip was still ranting and raving, blaming Patty for the bug spray. Like he's checking him. He's like, I wouldn't be sitting here if Patty didn't spray fucking bug spray all over me and give me a goddamn brain hemorrhage.
Wow.
So he's still going off about that. So also, in addition to their evidence of marital discord, as they like to call it, the prosecutor wants to present evidence that in July 1998, the year before, Kip had talked to a guy named David Whiting and indicated that he wanted to, quote, he wanted Patty to, quote, come up missing. So they're saying that he tried to hire a hitman or some shit here. Pretty big accusation.
Yeah.
Kip had apparently asked Whiting if he knew anyone who could do it. That's what he said. Do you know anyone who could do it? And in 1998, they say Kip also complained to Virgil Wirebaugh, which about his terrible name.
Yeah.
Virgil, your name's awful. So it was the complaining.
Virgil, I don't know how to spell either of those.
Virgil, what the hell's Wirebaugh? What the hell kind of name is that? This was, Jesus Christ, man. This was Virgil Wirebaugh is Patty's son-in-law.
Okay.
So Patty's daughter's husband.
Got it.
Here. And he was telling Kip was telling Wirebaugh that Patty really knew how to push his buttons and know how to get him pissed off. And he also, at that point, Kip inquired whether Wirebaugh ever got so mad at his own wife that he felt like killing her or even having her killed. I mean, you don't have to do it yourself. Just, I'm saying, do you ever want her dead?
He's talking about his stepdaughter?
Yeah, he's talking about, yeah. You ever wanted to kill my stepdaughter? Right? That's normal.
Because their mom's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I assume it rolls, it's genetic.
Right.
So maybe it skips a generation. If you have kids, watch out. She's going to be a pain in the ass. So Wirebaugh says that Kip also pondered and wondered and inquired how much maybe it would cost to find a killer. What do you think a hitman goes for these days? Literally, like you're asking, what do you think a cabin up north would go for? Or, a 10-foot boat or some shit, like some shit you don't need, basically. Yeah. I wonder what that costs. What, $5-10 grand? What could they cost?
What's a yoga mat these days?
I don't know. Yeah, let's find out. Jesus Christ. So after his surgery, he talked to Wirebaugh, Kip did, and said that Patty was treating him like a child and treating him like he was stupid because, he was stunad from the brain surgery. Right. And so it was pissing him off, and he was mad at Patty for treating him like he was stupid and a child. There's also evidence that, they say, in the early 1980s, way back,
yeah,
that Kip had a conversation with a man named Michael Willis about the capture of a famous serial killer. During that conversation, this is a 20-year-old off-the-cuff conversation about a serial killer. Do you remember every dumb thing you said to somebody about this, or how you would get away?
How many dumb things have I said?
Good
God,
Lord.
No.
He said during the conversation that Kip indicated in a low voice that he could commit a perfect murder. He would cut the person up and boil the meat so that the corpse would not stink. Then he could throw the meat out in a dumpster, just like restaurants do. They throw out old meat all the time. As long as it doesn't stink, no one will know the difference.
Is that a thing?
That's what he said.
I don't think that's a thing.
What?
I don't think you can boil meat and then just throw it out and it doesn't stink.
It's still going to stink.
It's still got to rot.
You're going to take some of it out of it, but it's still going to happen. It's still going to stink. Yeah,
it's fucking meat.
It's meat. That's What do you think? The Gambino family didn't think of that? No, it doesn't work.
I think the mob would have gotten away with a lot more.
Yeah, no. They figured you got to cut it up into parts and bury them separately.
Yeah,
that's
get
what
rid
you
of
do.
Little by little.
Yeah, that's dummy. So that's what I mean. We just had that conversation. Now, 20 years from now, if I'm up on murder charges in a podcast 20 years ago, he said that this and that. That's what I'm saying. Who knows what people say 20 years ago?
Unbelievable.
But still, prosecution says that the evidence is there's tension between the two of them, the married couple, that Kip contemplated killing Patty the year before she was actually killed, and at the time of her death, he blamed her for his health predicament. So there you go. This supports premeditation, deliberation, the whole deal. Now, they also said the defendant told inconsistent stories about what had occurred. He actively lied to both the victim's relatives and the police, which is all true. He very cover-up behavior. He engaged in a great effort to try to cover up his crime. I would say one of the greatest efforts I've ever seen.
Maybe, yeah.
This is like... I mean, I'm not talking he didn't do a good job and it wasn't a great thing to do, but effort. It's him and like Raymond Mata, the guy who tried to dispose of the 3-year-old that he killed by hiding his skull in the ceiling tiles and then feeding meat and flushing it down the toilet, giving it to a dog, whatever he could do.
It's a solid effort to make it all disappear.
This
is way worse because he cooked. I mean, he's taking 40 fucking hours.
Oh, yeah. He just cooked it down.
With a slow cooker.
Yeah.
Like just a reduction sauce.
I think he figured if I cook it to char, then it won't smell like anything. Because it'll be petrified almost. It'll just be nothing. So I guess that was his thought. I'm not sure here. Now, the prosecution opening at trial here, they said he's not suffering from psychosis and he just killed his wife because they argued about his marijuana habit. That's their claim. They said when they got the jury in here, it took 5 hours to get 14 jurors and 2 hours and 20 minutes for opening statements. So these people had a long fucking day.
Yeah, they did.
These jurors had a long day. The prosecutor portrays Arts as a substance abuser who killed Patty to end a marriage filled with strife and a man who cooked his wife for nearly 2 days. He said, quote, Patty was probably in that oven for 30 or 40 hours, he told the jury. He talked at length about her charred remains, the smell of human flesh, and blood splashed throughout the apartment and restaurant. He'll call witnesses, the prosecutor says, who will say that Kip has been fascinated with murder for years.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
How many hundreds of thousands of people right now would that apply to that are hearing our voices?
Right.
Literally hundreds of thousands of people are like, I better cover my tracks here.
How do you delete podcast history?
Jesus Christ. Said he's been fascinated and even talked of cutting up and boiling a body to conceal evidence in the early 80s, which we talked about. He said evidence will show that he bludgeoned his wife on their couch, placed her body in a sleeping bag, then systematically baked and boiled the remains over 2 days while his family wondered where she was. He says, quote, he had the presence of mind right off. He had the most effective means to get rid of that body in his restaurant, which he is definite cover up, or he's definitely trying to cover it.
Yeah.
Defense opening, on the other hand, just Joseph Phillip idiot. He doesn't dispute that Kip killed Patty. That's kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
He killed her. That's it.
And if he didn't do it, he was fucking there.
He definitely knows who did.
Yeah.
He is going to argue instead that Kip was not guilty by reason of insanity because his brain hemorrhage or his surgery to repair the brain hemorrhage messed something up in his brain. Your brain is excessively fragile.
Yeah.
And any little weird thing can make you a different person.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So this Philip, he said he talked for an hour. He talked about the Artses as a happy couple who hung out together, worked together, did everything. He says he's going to call up family members and friends and customers who said they never detected drug or alcohol abuse, nor did they see any marital problems. He says, now, on the other hand, the prosecutor says he's going to show the jury videos of body parts and shit like that. Yeah. Philip says, I'm going to show you different videos. I'm going to show you videos of the Artses having fun together on a trip to Nantucket and with family members on Christmas 1998. He says, quote, you are not going to see treacherous undercurrents of placid water. That's what he said, because that's what the prosecutor said. There was treacherous undercurrents in that placid water.
Oh, boy. That's nice.
Yeah. You have to say that in a Southern accent. It's a prosecutor that says that.
Yeah.
He almost has to have he has to affect one, even if he doesn't have one. So, they also say that Kevin's been treated for depression with Prozac, and it's been used as his defense before, but they said if you mix the Prozac thing with the blood clot, you might have something here. Right. That's a lot of drastic mental change all at once. So two psychological experts who examined Kip talked about his version of events. They said one said that he fell asleep in the living room. Patty woke him up, at which point he hallucinated, thinking that she was the devil, and struck her with the closest object he could find, which happened to be a metal bar. Now, after killing her, he said that then he realized that he struck his wife. Oh, God. She just went and morphed back into Patty. He was like, oh, man, the horns went away, tail dried up. Oh, shit.
Damn, she's pretty.
Oh, man, I like Patty.
What's the closest thing to your couch, James?
To Micah, not a metal bar.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's not a metal bar anywhere.
If you fell asleep on your
my
couch,
coffee table.
Yeah, you'd have to pick up
water bottle.
I'd have to pull a fish off the wall.
I was going to say a TV from the wall. I could hit her with the PlayStation 4.
I got a picture of Dolly Parton. I've got nothing that's killable.
Right over the head with the Hunter Thompson, Ralph Steadman drawing that I got, that she got me for my birthday. Take that. I love it, but wow.
If you're in my house and I'm asleep on my couch and you wake me up, you're pretty much safe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll go. Boy! I recoil.
Yeah.
I don't go. Started swinging and lashing out at people. That's crazy time. So they said that the crime scene video and pictures featured at the trial here showed her charred remains, including about 40 pounds of bones and tissue, and part of the head that they found in the box. Which is a lot. It was intense for the jury. So intense that the judge told the jurors that after the case was over or after the end of the days, whenever they need it, the county would provide counseling to anyone who needs it.
Wow.
That's how heavy this shit was.
Incredible.
Yeah. So hardcore shit.
Yeah.
So he, of course, tries to get them to not admit these photographs. Oh, God, we can't show that. It's awful. But there's
a fucking warning.
The prosecution says, hey, we got to show you the bones, and then we got to show you that these are the bones that our forensic pathologist reconstructed. So we can show you we did it right. This is all evidence, babe. That's how it works. So the videotape depicts the outside of the area surrounding and the apartment and the restaurant, as well as the interior of the apartment and restaurant kitchen. It further depicted the porch where the box of bones was discovered, and it contains several minutes showing bones in both the box and spread out on a yellow blanket. So they're called disturbing and gruesome by the media, which I would say so. They said that the images of the bones were insufficient to give the jury a full picture of the efforts expended to dismember the body. That's the other thing. That's why they had photographic evidence of the bones spread on the blanket, and they said it was necessary to show you how much he did. Just a pile of them doesn't do it. You need to spread it out and go, he had to separate every one of those. You know how long that takes? Jesus Christ. So they said it was relevant in the issues of premeditation and deliberation, and it can help the jury understand, all this shit here. They said that the medical examiner reconstructed the skull and theorizing it was struck by a heavy object. Like we said, he admitted it was a metal bar.
Right.
And, they said it has probative value. The judge lets the pictures and the videotape in. There it goes. So now the experts come in to talk about his fucking head. So the neurosurgeon who performed his surgery, he comes in and testified that Kip's brain bleed was, quote, not acute, and that the surgery to fix it had been simple. He testified also that he had not seen any abnormality in his brain after the surgery.
Okay.
Now, what's he going to testify to? He was all fucked up when I sent him home because he had no insurance?
Right.
That's the problem here with this. That's why I don't believe this guy, even if he's telling the truth. I'm not saying he's not telling the truth. I don't know. He might be, but he also would also be, it would also open him up to a lawsuit if he came on and went, yeah, he was pretty fucked up still, but he couldn't pay for it. So we just sent him home. So it's cool. Then he's getting sued by the victim's family. So I think either way, this is his testimony.
To say it was fine when he left us.
Fine when we left me. I don't know. And there's nobody can say any different because that was his medical evaluation. Exactly. And no one else looked at him. He did say that Kip had a difficult time finding words to express his thoughts after the surgery, but he showed no defects in his thought process. So they said, his brain was okay and he was thinking things through. He just couldn't think of things and remember things. So like, good enough. Out the door with you.
Isn't that a defect in thought process?
Seems like something's wrong, I would say. I don't know. It's just one of those deals. Now, there's another psychologist here who interviews Kip and 43 other witnesses before preparing a 77-page report, which he submitted to the prosecution and the defense. This Galdi is his name. He says that Kip's personality tests do not show any signs of psychotic or paranoid thinking, nor did Kip show any signs of hallucinations, paranoia, or psychosis during his time at the hospital or being examined. According to his testimony, Kip told him that a demon had turned over his bed, sat on his couch, talked to him, and threatened his wife. So now he tells him that the demon, got him awake and then sat down on his couch, cracked a beer open, presumably, and been like,
out a minute.
I'm going to fuck your wife in the face. And he was like, you will not. And he hit him with a metal bar.
Split this joint with me.
Hold on a minute. He needed more weed, this guy. So then his psychologist,
this is awesome.
This is amazing, that his family hired, he testifies that Kip told him that a demon had threatened him. He's like, he told me demon threatened him. I mean, that's demon threatens and you got to do something.
It's time to fight.
He
fight
said,
or flight, boy.
It's what it is. He said that, he said that he doesn't know if Kip was making a story up as they went along. He doesn't know, but, they thought it was an odd thing that they didn't call the priest to the stand to talk about, because he was the first guy he talked to about any of this. The Galdi guy again, he testified that Kip never described Patty as a demon or a devil to him until several weeks after the murder.
In fact, what he described her as was a jalapeno on a stick.
It was pretty a very racist jalapeno on a stick. Jalapeno on a stick that hates Arabs. Hates them. Not fond of Mexicans either.
Very, very charming white fella, not moving his lips.
Jeff Dunham hates Mexicans too, right?
He hates everything.
Yeah, I know he hates
Jeff
everything.
Dunham.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Jesus Christ. Beat him with his own puppet. But don't say I told you to do it. It's fine. Don't actually do that. So, that's what ends up happening here. So, devil, blah, blah, blah. When the devil shit comes in. Now, Kip's going to present testimony from two neuropsychologists here, Doctors Edward Cook and Bradley Seawick. Now, Cook testifies that Kip had an organic psychotic condition both before and after his brain injury, thus lacked the capacity to understand the wrongfulness of his conduct. He also testified that Kip had thought Patty was the devil when he killed her. Yeah. So that's in court. Now, the Seawick guy testifies that Kip's brain injury was severe, more than the original surgeon said, and affected his ability to think rationally. He's a doctor of clinical psychology and a board-certified neuropsychologist. Okay. So he's not like, he doesn't have like incense. He's not like a hippy-dippy,
right.
He's
not selling you crystals.
Yeah, he's not selling you crystals and tell this will keep your kids from getting measles. Right. You don't need vaccination.
Feel the vortex.
Yeah, feel it. No. So he testified that the cerebral bleed was deep, destructive, a severe hemorrhaging stroke, which not only affected his speech but also affected his ability to think in a logical and rational manner. Okay. So we have conflicting experts here. One who, due to his it serves the one guy too well to say that his brain's fine because I sent him home. Right. So I don't know. He says that he believed that the stroke and surgery caused a devastating insult to Kip's nervous system and that Kip suffered a great destruction of nerve cells in his brain. Seawick concluded that Kip was in a confused, psychotic state at the time he killed Patty, and he suffered from delusions and hallucinations that would be in accordance with his injuries here. So, Seawick also noted that Kip had a history of marijuana use, but explained that he did not think marijuana contributed significantly to his mental illness, because it doesn't and didn't. So, Seawick also opined that Kip was delirious and psychotic when he killed Patty, couldn't appreciate the wrongfulness of his actions. Prosecution, of course, calls several rebuttal witnesses, a forensic psychologist here, all this type of thing. This guy, Charles Clark, he testifies that none of the psychological tests that he administered to Kip indicated any psychopathy, any delusions, psychosis, hallucinations, none of that shit. Yeah. He testifies that Kip had no history of mental illness before the murder and that Kip's record showed no sign of mental illness after the murder. Clark also says that Kip was not legally insane when he killed Patty, and he can appreciate everything. The Galdi guy said the clot was present in the brain for 1 or 2 days and was not acute, and the evacuation of the blood clot was easy and no abnormality was found. So he's backing up the other doctor who actually did it. The cause of the hemorrhage was never determined. They're pretty sure it wasn't bug spray, but outside of that,
it's very rare that's the case.
It's up in the air. Yeah, every exterminator would just be clotting every. Oh my God, I can't think. So after surgery, he couldn't find words, like they said. They said his process of thinking wasn't impaired. This is the state doctor, but his speech was, like we talked about. They said the neurosurgeon testified there was no nerve damage to the brain because they recalled him to make sure of that. Now, he acknowledged the existence of, the surgeon does, of a hospital note reflecting that Kip had a hallucination. In the hospital, he told them of hallucinations. Oh? There's a note in the hospital saying there's a hallucination. He explained, though, the doctor says, that this hallucination occurred within a day or two after surgery when he was intensely sick. And it was not uncommon for a patient recovering from deep anesthesia to have hallucinations for days. Yeah. But still, he was in the hospital going, I'm seeing shit, doc. Yeah. And they let him out. And then he goes home and kills his wife.
That's crazy.
That's kind of weird. So prosecution also calls another doctor here, a cardiologist, and a angiologist. I don't know. That's a physician who specializes in diseases that affect the circulatory system.
Yeah, I was going to say vein doctor.
Including blood vessels in the brain. He testifies that he did not see signs of permanent brain damage as a result of the brain bleed. So, prosecutor in his closing argument, he says, I can tell you there was lots of problems in that marriage. And he brings up this phrase again. And there were lots of dangerous undercurrents underneath the placid waters of that marriage. He loves that shit.
Somebody just saw Lake Placid and it's jacked to use something.
Either that or it's from like a poem that he read in the 10th grade. Yeah. And he's like, I've been using this to try to pick up girls for a long time. I've just been going, when I look at you, it stirs up dangerous undercurrents underneath the placid waters of my pants.
He read some Civil War soldier's letter home.
And he goes, Robert Frost.
I am using that shit one day.
I won't do it.
One day that is going to earn me one blowjob.
Yeah. Now, the prosecutors... It's going to happen. It's going to get me at least some. The prosecutor's argument here is... annoying because there's truth in it. It's like when a politician says something that's shitty, but there's 10% truth in it. So it gets more credence than it should because 90% of it's still false. Right. But people just take, well, that part's true. Yeah. Any politician, whatever, it doesn't matter. But
we do have a border.
Yeah. No, I'm just, it could be
you
anything.
Know what I mean?
I didn't even mean like in a national sense. I meant just anything they use, you know.
I just mean, does any typical argument over a border, it's just, we do have a border.
Yeah.
So this shit I'm saying is clearly true.
Yeah, so however you feel about it, we're not getting involved right now. So the prosecutor here, he argues at the end that Patty's first husband was abusive and that it is the normal pattern it's a victim's normal pattern to become involved with another abusive person. That means that Kip's abusive.
Okay.
Now, while that is true, while statistically, if you are in abusive relationships, probably you came from an abusive home as a child for the most part. Statistically, majority of people came from an abusive home, and the majority of those people do end up finding other abusers. Yeah. Not all the time, though, and that doesn't mean that he is, and you can't use that most of the time this happens as a definite legal argument that he's definitely an abuser. Right. Like that's what I mean. There's truth in what he says, but he uses it in a way that's not meant to be used.
Just because the statistics are there doesn't mean that this particular case falls into those fucking statistics.
Cocaine's supposed to be, a numbing agent. It's not, you know what I mean? We found other uses for it. That's what he's doing.
We don't use it in dental school anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they said there was no testimony to support an argument that the defense says there's no testimony to support that argument that it was her normal pattern to become involved with abusive men. The defense made an objection to this argument, and the trial court cautioned the jury at this point that the closing arguments had to be based on evidence or reasonable inferences of evidence, and you can ignore anything that you don't think fits with the evidence. But this guy can say any crazy shit he wants because it's a closing.
What?
Yeah. Basically, it's up to you now. The closing argument's the Wild fucking West. So you can object. You can object. Like in the OJ trial, they objected constantly to their shit just to throw them off. But like, you can object to shit, but they won't strike anything. The judge will just say, use your judgment. That's it.
Got it.
Use your judgment, and if this doesn't fit in with the evidence that you've just heard over the course of the trial, then don't take that into consideration. That's strategic as
fuck on the part of whoever's doing the closing
prosecution.
argument.
They know what they're doing. They know how to close the door.
To make sure that the jury understands what to do.
Yeah. So the jury begins deliberating on a Friday at about 2:30, and begins deliberating, and about 2:30. I'm sorry, on Friday, and then about 2:30 p.m. Monday, they are ready. So he is in for the verdict, and it is guilty.
Yeah.
As not shocking.
All right.
He's guilty here. Sentencing though comes up, and he doesn't have much to say in the whole thing. No. He still contends that he was mentally ill.
Welcome back, everybody. She was a demon.
Yeah, demon. I killed the devil. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I did not get a thank you. Please be lenient.
Your Honor, I would like to just address the court and say, you're welcome. You may proceed. Watch. This is what he's going to let me out now.
This is the part where it's easy. All right.
Bailiff, get those cuff keys ready. We're about to hit the fucking road here. Let's do this.
I got shit to do.
This is you, sir. Yeah. May fuck off. Life without parole.
Wow.
So no parole for him at all.
Oh, that's steep.
That's a steep one. Yeah. That's
the worst.
They hit him hard.
To death. That's the worst.
This is probably worse. That's banging him pretty hard there. So the prosecutor said the jury was convinced that he planned the murder and deliberated the whole thing and cooked the remains and everything. He says, quote, what was compelling to the jury is what he did immediately before and after the crime, his extensive efforts to take care of the body. The jury figured it was thoughtful and goal-directed, not the mark of insanity, which that's fair. Yeah. That's very fair. Members of Patty's family they were there the whole time at the trial. Her daughter was there. By the way, her daughter's name is Patty.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we got a junior situation. So Patty, she says, Patty Wirebaugh, she is now. Remember, Patty and Virgil Wirebaugh. Yeah. They said that now that this is over, the family can try to start living again. She said, quote, I don't have to be scared anymore. I don't have to be scared for my children. Yeah. Which, I mean, he was in prison. I don't think.
He wasn't coming for you.
He wasn't coming for you. He doesn't know you exist, probably. Right. He's out there. So
he just wants to know if you're a pain in the ass, too.
Are you the devil?
That's all he wanted to know.
Unless you're the devil.
That's all he was asking Virgil.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that's true. Virgil could have killed him. She should be afraid of Virgil.
Right, yeah.
They had that conversation. So the defense attorney here, this Joseph Phillip idiot, he argued that Arts was innocent by reason of insanity, and that he said he warned Kip that it's going to be a tough sell. Yeah. So I told him. Yeah. He said, quote, the tremendous scare factor was so tough to overcome, because he said of the nature of the thing and the pictures. Right. He said once we showed him those pictures and they looked over at him and said, that's who did that, you're a monster.
That's
period. You can't and it's true. When you have a case like this of shocking horror, to me that says more crazy. Yeah. But a lot of times when they look at it, they're just like, oh God, we have to put that, make that right.
Yeah.
Because that is terrible.
Right.
I don't want that to happen. Which, Jesus, it's awful. So, it was a 9-day trial, the whole thing anyway. Kip's dad, he says he believes his son's insane. He said this verdict doesn't sit well with him at all. Mm-hmm. He says, quote, there was no truth in their case. He didn't even know what color suit on he had on today. So he's saying my kid is a fucking loopy son of a bitch.
Okay.
He knows nothing. So his stepdad said, quote, this is his stepfather, quote, I'm happy with the decision, but I feel sorry for his family. Not me. I ain't his family. I'm just a stepdad.
I ain't in this shit no more.
Super weirdo.
I feel sorry for his
family. He's still married to his wife. He's probably been married for 20 years. He just separated himself. All these people here, they got problems. I feel bad for him.
Fucking crazy.
What are we going to do with these people, huh?
This is why we go to my family's house on Thanksgiving.
Jesus Christ. He says, quote, both families lost a lot. I lost them both. Either way it went. So, I don't know. Ain't my fault.
I disowned all of them. Fuck
you know how it works. Nobody seeing demons all around. Now, April 2003, he appeals. He argues that the photos should have never been let in, and he argues about experts. That's a big thing here. He argues that the trial court also abused its discretion by admitting certain evidence, including statements he made before the killing, evidence of his marijuana use, and evidence that Patty consulted with a divorce attorney, which all seem like very relevant evidence. They said they reviewed everything and there was no problem there. They said that the first thing he challenges that he 16 or 17 years before the crime he described how he would dispose of a body, and he says there's nothing to support any of this. It's too remote in time to demonstrate any kind of premeditation. You don't premeditate for 17 years generally.
No, it's very rare.
What he's saying here, and he claims that statement, along with his other statements about killing or causing the disappearance of Patty, were offered to make him appear depraved. I don't think you need to say anything. All you need to do is show a picture of fucking cooked meat and a skull in a box.
40 pounds of bones in a bag.
How'd you like to be his neighbor and put the box on the thing and you go, fuck, put him away. I don't care. Jesus Christ. He says also that expressing thoughts of killing the victim and explaining the best way to dispose of a body were not directly relevant to issues of premeditation and deliberation, which is questionable. They talk about he says that the passage of time should kill all of that shit. He also says that even if his statements were relevant, they should have been excluded. He fails to explain or rationalize this position. They say in the court documents, they just say that he says it should be excluded and then doesn't explain why. So they're like, we don't know how to answer this as a court, as an appeals court.
Yeah.
He seems to have dropped the issue, so we'll just give up on it and moving on to the next thing. I found that fucking hilarious.
Well, it's damaging to my case, Your Honor.
He trailed off in a court filing.
Right.
You don't you go over that, you edit the stuff. I don't have an ending for this. Fuck it, I'll take this part out. He was like, and you can't do that because there's all right, part
and
C.
another thing.
And C says that the fuck do you expect? Super weird. So
this doesn't help me and this doesn't help me and going on.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. He also says that he challenges the testimony of a divorce attorney, with whom Patty consulted, and finally challenges the evidence of his marijuana use. He concedes that he did use marijuana post-surgery. He argues that the testimony about his pervasive use of marijuana in the years before the killing was irrelevant and didn't support the prosecutor's theory that marijuana was a source of ongoing marital discord. They said the appeals court disagrees with that, and they said it is relevant for reasons of their tension and shit like that. They said the testimony indicated that his marijuana use was the source of marital tension for many years, and that after the surgery it caused Patty anger and concern. So that's what they say there. They said that the record does not indicate the jury gave the marijuana evidence undue or preemptive weight, that it was used for improper purpose, or that its use was unfair. So he also claims prosecutorial misconduct. He says that the closing argument, when he said, "But I can tell you there's lots of problems in that marriage. There was lots of dangerous undercurrents underneath the placid waters of that marriage." The argument here, they said it was objected to, and they told him to move on, basically. They say the appeals court says prosecutor's not testifying. He's trying to convey to the jury that while there's no direct evidence of what participated the crime, there's indirect evidence to support a conviction of first-degree murder. So that's what they're saying. And he can you have a lot of latitude in an opening and closing argument. And that's basically what they say. You're never going to get anything based on that, ever. In all the cases we've seen, that never works. Right. It just never works. Also, he alleges that during his closing argument, the prosecutor misstated the testimony of two doctors, which actually he did do. He testified that drug-induced vasculitis could cause intracerebral bleeding in someone with a long history of drinking and drug use, and the doctor never said that. Never testified to that, never wrote that. Not fucking, the guy just pulled it out of his ass.
Wow.
Literally pulled it out of his ass. So yeah,
that guy's not a doctor that said that?
No, the lawyer said that. The lawyer said the doctor said that, and the doctor never said that.
What kind of word is that? Intracerebral?
Intracerebral. Who
even fucking knows that?
He took parts of other doctors' testimonies that
wove them together.
He just remembered it as one fact where there was different things together. He said, because another person who actually performed the surgery did testify that drug-induced vasculitis could have caused the hemorrhage, and but he not in this context. So he was saying that could cause a hemorrhage, but the prosecutor said he made it so this doctor said it definitely did or could have, and then put it in another person's mouth. So both of those things were wrong. Identified the wrong expert. So also the defendant here, Kip, challenges the prosecutor's argument that Patty's first husband was abusive, and that whole thing here. There was no testimony to support an argument that the victim had a normal pattern of becoming involved with abusive men. The appeals court says the counsel made a timely objection, challenged the argument, and the judge told the jury that if it doesn't fit with the evidence, don't use it. Yeah. So they say he was not deprived of a fair trial. They say, quote, the defendant told inconsistent stories about what had occurred. He engaged in a great effort to try to cover up his crime, to dispose of the body in this bizarre fashion that he had previously contemplated. That's what the appeals court said. And that was that. They said, fuck off, take a walk. So 2008, he wants a new trial. New trial.
Based on
he says he should get a new trial because new evidence out there shows that he was in a, Jesus Christ, I will have a lot to say about this, a state of marijuana-induced psychosis at the time of the slaying. Okay. Let's put some fucking myths to rest right here, because a lot of people don't smoke weed. They don't know anything about it, whatever. Let's put some shit to rest here. You've seen me smoke plenty of weed.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a psychosis occur?
No.
Weed makes people lazy. Do you know a harder working human being?
Very few.
Than fucking.
No.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean. The stereotypes and all this shit is bullshit, and it doesn't fucking matter.
It depends on if you can handle it and enjoy it and function.
If a person's a lazy loser to begin with and then smokes weed, he will continue to be a lazy loser. But it's not because of the weed. That's who he is, and it's a supplement to that. Right. It helps that. It's a cherry on top.
And people that smoke weed and don't like it generally don't have. It's not right. This guy seems to have like a habit, and he enjoys it, and he's using it a lot. He's like you, where you function well under. Lots of people smoke weed and can't handle it.
Yeah,
and they, like,
it's not their thing.
They have like paranoia. You don't have fucking psychosis.
No,
you don't freak out. You just go, holy shit, this is no good.
How many people's lives have been saved because I smoke weed in your presence? Honestly, that Denver live show last year, there would have been blood on the walls if weed wasn't legal in Denver and I wasn't heavily medicated. I would have fucking killed those people for that bullshit incompetence.
Not the people that came. It was the people.
No, not the people who came. The listeners were great. The people that operated it and kept you guys outside for 45 minutes too fucking long. Started the show late because they couldn't figure out a goddamn projector, like people have been doing since the 1950s. Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
Children operate them at school. People used to come home from the 40s. We came home from our vacation, set up the projector, and show everyone our trip. Fucking housewives in the 40s could do that shit. And these people, a bunch of professionals, are like, I don't know, just can't hook a cord up. Doesn't seem to work, y'all.
So anyway, I think it keeps psychosis at bay.
Right. It keeps a lot of people in even keel.
Yeah.
And the people that it doesn't keep in even keel, they don't keep doing it.
They don't keep doing it. Yeah, exactly. It's bad for them.
Right.
Yeah, because they did a study recently showing that it affects different people, different parts of the brain. The people who get paranoid, there's some people who go, I don't know, every time I smoke weed, I just get paranoid and I don't like it. That's because it affects a different part of your brain.
Yeah, it's because you can't separate the fact that it's fucking illegal.
No. Literally, I know what you're saying, but literally the THC is talking to a different part of their brain that makes them paranoid.
Got it.
So they're now working on strains of weed that will
speak somewhere else,
that go somewhere else, so it doesn't make those people paranoid.
How are they doing?
It's pretty fucking awesome. I love weed science.
Magical.
Weed science is great. And anyone who has a problem with it, eat shit with your IPAs and your fucking, this beer and this, and I'm making it at home. And it's a micro brew. Fuck off. Okay? Thank you. Anyway.
And guys that drink beer, like me, that drink it because it's a fucking medication, stop with your fucking craft beer. Stop trying to make something that I think is delicious and calm my nerves. Stop trying to make it fun. It's not fun. And alcohol is not fun.
No.
I do it because I fucking hate you.
And it shouldn't taste like a blueberry muffin either. That's the other thing.
It should be disgusting.
It should be awful.
It should be terrible, and that's the way life is.
Yes.
It should taste like my life.
Right. It should. That's
Every
right.
sip
I like
take,
my beer like I taste my life, like I like my life. Bitter.
Fucking awful.
Bitter. So Jesus Christ.
Stop trying to pair it with your burger. It's fine.
Come on. That's the other thing.
Fuck
Enough. Enough.
Fucking flour burger.
Jesus. And you know how I feel about the buns, so we won't get into that. Keep your buns dry. It's a handle.
Stop greasing it.
Don't grease your bun because it looks good on Instagram. That's what it is.
Is it really?
All of this shit, anything you get and you're like, why is this like this? It's because if you take a picture of it under the light, it looks better. That's why. Because if you glaze a bun, then it's shiny and then it pops like on a commercial. Right. That's why they want people to take a picture, post it to their Instagram and go, I'm at this restaurant.
Is that what fucking happened? That's what
exactly what it happens. Why else would you put grease on the outside? You could put it on the inside if it was for flavor.
For like the past 5 years.
It's Instagram. That's exactly what it is. And all of your food set up in a douchey fashion is that's why. Because they want it to look good in a picture. The rest of it, be damned. Who gives a shit?
Fucking IPA in the cheesy ass can.
Stupid. So
give me a white can with fucking simple letters.
Yes.
What's the brand? And then beer. I'll drink it.
Damn it. Now he says that the Dr. Galdi wrote a letter while the appeals process was going on. They went to that Dr. Galdi from before, and he says that he wrote in his assessment that Kip was likely suffering from marijuana-induced psychosis. Now, he does believe that he was still legally sane, but he said that. Now, Kip claims that the prosecutors, when they took that report, excluded the word psychosis and left that out. And he said that would have gotten him off, which it wouldn't have. No. But, So they say, he says that the government suppressed evidence, that such evidence was favorable to the defense, and that the suppressed evidence was material. They say evidence is material if there's a reasonable probability that the evidence, had it been disclosed to the defense, the result of the proceeding would have been different. It's a Brady violation. Yeah. They had evidence that they didn't disclose. It's a lot of Adnan Syed Brady violation shit. So the suppression here they're talking about is this marijuana psychosis, but the court says just because he said that, it would have if they wouldn't have used that at trial anyway, is what they've decided. They say that basically his defense attorneys, his strategy was that Kip wasn't even smoking weed when this happened. So it was the opposite. It was he wasn't even smoking weed, so they would have not used he was in a psychosis because of weed. So it was conflictive. So they said you wouldn't have used that. They said that the prosecution argued about the marijuana habit, and then the defense didn't want to concede that Kip smoked weed after his surgery. That was the whole thing here. So then he also says ineffective assistance of counsel. He argues that Philip was constitutionally ineffective because at trial he should have called a witness, the father Shaver, who is the priest who spoke to him a few days after the murder in jail before any psychologist got a hold of him. And he says that he told the priest that Patty was a demon, and the other psychiatrists say that he never told us Patty was a demon until much later. So he's like, the guy should have called the priest to say fucking demon.
That's the guy that said it to us. Yeah, need to tell these
fucking
guys.
Demon guy here. But they said for the claim to prevail on this claim, Kip must show that Philip's decision to not call Shaver, quote, fell below an objective standard of reasonableness and resulted in prejudice to the trial. They say that he did not, and Kip can go fuck off. Now, so Kip gets sent back to prison. He keeps trying to.
No retrial.
2016, he's still trying to get a new trial. Yeah, 2016, he was still bringing other evidence for it. What about this? Kicked his ass back to the curb.
No, sir.
No, sir. Now, April 2016 is stupidity. Absolute fucking stupidity that makes me angrier than shit. Okay, the idiot Philip guy, the defense attorney here, he's now a judge, this moron. Okay, this guy goes to schools to tell people about how bad weed is.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he uses this as an example. It'll make you kill your wife.
Oh my God.
No one's ever killed their wife while they were drinking, right? That doesn't fucking happen in every one of our fucking stories, right? No one kills anybody while they're drunk. Jesus Christ.
So
are you fucking kidding? The balls on you. If you're going to do that, you have to sit and talk to the kids about how alcohol will make you kill your wife for 5 hours. And then you can talk about for 15 seconds that weed might do it too. Because that's the ratio of difference, you fucking asshole. Jesus Christ. He was at a school event in the Western High School in Parma, and he brings this in here. A teacher asked the judge about how the criminal justice system is dealing with Jackson County's methamphetamine epidemic. You know, a real drug that's bad for you.
That one really does.
Yeah.
That one really makes you kill people.
That one would say, meth will make you kill some people. That shit makes you irrational. The Philip said, quote, we have to figure it out. Why would you put a needle in your vein and shoot heroin up it? Sometimes that's the big question.
Is that the question?
He said that. He said, why would you put a needle in your vein and shoot heroin up it? Because it feels good, probably, is my guess.
Because it works.
Because they have problems, you know.
Because it gets there faster. That's why.
So then he says, quote, sometimes you have to have that mindset that you want to do it. And what softens up the mind? Marijuana and alcohol.
Wow.
So he's literally still doing, he's going
stuff.
Gateway bullshit.
Wow.
Even though we've proved scientifically that's horseshit.
What year was this?
This is 2016. He's going to schools as a judge, as a man whose opinion matters.
Running gateway drug crackpot theories.
This fucking idiot's opinion matters. When he takes his fucking, when he does that, that
People
shit
listen.
counts.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
No arguments after that. End of discussion. This fucking idiot.
Wow.
So, wow. Yeah. He says it'll soften up the mind. He says, now I know that might not be terribly popular around here, but that's it. I know that might not go with science or any social experiments or anything that we've observed over the last 50 years, but I think it's marijuana because my pappy told me it was bad. Fuck you.
Because I tried it once and I felt bad.
I didn't feel right. And then the girl I was dancing with went and danced with a black fella. That's
who could handle it.
And he danced well because of the marijuana. And so I said, I ain't going to do it no more. He says that, this is the way it's always been. He says, so quote, so the argument that marijuana doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah. Kevin Arts cooked his wife because he was hallucinating over marijuana. Thought she was the she devil. At least that's what he told people. That's what he's fucking saying here. He's saying how investigators found weed at the crime scene, and then it came out that he smoked weed heavily during the month before that. So He must have.
Clearly,
that's what it was.
That's what did it.
Then he tells the kids that Arntz previously had a fist-sized tumor removed from his brain, which is not what happened. It was a hemorrhage, blood clot. Definitely not a fist-sized tumor. He also said that he's against legalization of marijuana and disputes claims that it reduces crime.
Wow.
Well, guess what, asshole? Statistically, I'll tell you it reduces crime, because if you arrest 100 people for weed, because it's illegal, and then if it's not illegal, you don't arrest 100 people for weed, guess how many less people have been arrested? 100 people less crime. That's what it is. When you invent crime based on it, he says, quote, if someone breaks into your house so they can steal stuff to buy marijuana, would you care?
Nobody's ever done that.
They have to commit crimes to support that habit. Marijuana becomes the habit. No, it doesn't. No. You know what happens when you don't have weed? You don't have money. You go, shit, I don't have any weed. And then you just watch TV. That's what you do.
Or you call a friend that's got weed. That's what you do.
I've never, ever stolen or fucking...
I've never heard of anybody ever did that.
You don't do that. No. It's just not how it works, because it's not an addiction like that. You're not sick from it. It's not... To put that in...
Scratching.
To put it in with heroin and meth, as far as the same level of gotta have it, is fucking irresponsible. Yeah. It's irresponsible. Yeah. And you're saying this to high school students who know better. They fucking know better.
40% of the kids in this room are stoned listening to this guy going, what the fuck
is
he talking about?
They've been to parties where people are smoking weed. They're sitting there going, this guy's talking out of his ass. That's what you sound like when you say that to kids. They hear, wah, 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 wah. You fucking idiot.
It's very Charlie Brown happening right now.
Yeah. And then he says, and the idea that it, quote, frees us up to chase the bad guys. What do you think the bad guys are on most of the time? Marijuana, or they're an alcoholic. That's what I see in the system from my perspective. Am I dead wrong? Could be. He then says multiple times that marijuana softens the brain. And if you say fucking Candyman 3 times in the mirror, it's ridiculous. This guy's an idiot.
Bloody Mary, y'all!
Bloody Mary, ball, run! Jesus Christ. He says he hears the same thing through his career. I smoked marijuana when I was 11. I smoked marijuana when I was 13. Maybe even with their parents, believe it or not. Then they go to heroin because pills are too expensive. Well, marijuana can be expensive too. Chasing the dragon. He says the dragon is that first high. They're not the same.
No.
They're not the same. Heroin and marijuana, they're not the same thing as fucking heroin, you dummy. And
I'll say this too. The first time I got stoned, I hated it.
A lot of people do. A lot of times it doesn't even work the first time. You just like, I don't even feel it.
I'm saying the first time I got stoned, I was like, yo, this is bananas.
Yeah.
And then you get high,
But it's not heroin.
High is great.
Yeah.
Stoned is fucked up.
Yeah.
So then you manage getting high, and then eventually you get stoned again, and then you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. But it doesn't, he's completely, has he ever smoked weed before?
I'm the case study, Jimmy. I'm the case study. Because 14. For me, and it's, you know why? It's not that they smoke weed when they're 11 and then it makes them a shitty life. The reason why they're smoking weed at 11 is because they have poor parental supervision and they come from a shit family, which is why they become a criminal.
Right.
The weed is just something that they supplement on the side because their life sucks and it's a little bit of fun for 5 fucking minutes. It's not the cause. It's just a fucking side effect.
It's the escape from the lifestyle that they have.
It's a side effect. Yeah. The dragon is that first high, he says. And time after time after time, they keep trying to find that same high again. It might start with marijuana. They can't find it, though. Then they go to the next drug. No, they don't. 20 years later, guess what? Still on the same one and pretty fucking satisfied with it. You've seen people offer me other drugs. What do I say?
No,
the fuck out of my face. I don't even drink because I found what works for me. So fuck you.
Drugs are very specific to people. You do what you do that fits with what you do.
Your lifestyle.
Right.
And your brain chemistry and what you do.
Nobody smokes weed and goes, I need more. Nobody does that.
It's not a thing.
No.
They might want more,
right?
But you know what? They'll get over it in 20 minutes if it's not there, and they'll figure something else out.
Eventually, they'll be too stoned to get up and go find it.
Yeah, it's not like when you watch Dope Sick Love.
That's a different.
Were they ever looking for weed?
No.
Any of those people?
No.
If you offered them weed, they'd be like, yeah, okay. You might as well offer me nicotine gum. What the fuck good is that going to do?
I got to go find Al. He's the best.
He's the best. Yeah, you'll go let a fucking old man suck your dick for crack. That's different. That's different than weed. It's just different. I'm sorry. It's bullshit. So ridiculous. So currently, old Kip here is a prisoner at the Gus Harrison Correctional Facility. He's security level 2, in case you want to know. And some fucking somebody put, I don't know if it says it's real.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's still up. Kip's Taco House, Kip's Pizza Taco House, 2319 West Main Street, Jackson, Michigan. Now, I have got that's on there right now.
On
okay,
what?
That's on everything. Yeah. There's that you can just look up Kip's Pizza and Taco House.
You can go find it.
It'll come up and you said order now and all
open?
that shit. That says 2319 West Main Street.
Yeah.
Now the old one in an article, his place, it listed it at 2319 West Michigan Avenue.
Oh boy!
But this is 2319 West Main Street.
Did they just change the street name?
I don't know. But then I look up 2319 West Michigan, and it comes up as a Remax thing, and it shows, and you can also find the apartment that they lived in is for rent.
On the back of the Remax?
Yeah, like on this off to the side.
Okay.
It's like next to it over there. So I don't know what's going on, but if there is another Kip's Pizza and Taco House in that neighborhood,
that is fucked up.
That's the dumbest name you've ever come up with because bad connotations. If there's not, that's hilarious that it's up on the internet still. And someone's going, you want to get there's this Kip's place. Oh, they're closed. Oh, I wonder if they're permanently closed or what. Oh, yeah, he cooked his wife in there. Place is fucked. That's small town murder.
Unbelievable.
That's Jackson, Michigan. What a disastrous story that was.
I'm so glad it's over and there's closure. That is a fucking nightmare.
That was a wild one, right?
That's a nightmare. That's horrific.
It's horrific. The whole thing's crazy.
Ins and outs and what have yous.
It's
from beginning to end, it's awful.
It's all frustrating and crazy, that entire
sideways,
case.
Everything sucks.
It does suck. And if you think it sucks, tell us about it. Give us 5 stars. Get on iTunes, the purple icon there, and Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Just write whatever. It's not for our ego. It's just for business purposes. For some reason, Apple makes those drive you up the charts. We don't know why. We don't understand it. We don't care. But thank you guys for doing it. Also, head to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get everything, all of your merchandise, all of your T-shirts. Pocket Robin stuff is up there. You can wear all those T-shirts and things and carry your bag right to a live show.
Absolutely.
Like tomorrow, we're going to be in Columbus on Friday, August 2nd, and then August 3rd, we'll be in Cleveland at the Ohio Theater. So come check us out this weekend. In 2 weeks, we'll be in Omaha, but that's sold out. Right. And then the next night in Minneapolis, or 2 nights later in Minneapolis. And that has a few tickets left. Minneapolis, they're going to go fast. So grab those extra tickets and get that thing closed out and make sure you don't get left out in the warm, I guess, because it's summer.
In the nice.
In the nice, in the not 10 degrees.
In the nice weather, in the nice people with the nice attitudes. Don't get left out in the nice.
And then L.A. and San Diego in September, right past that. And then we're going down to the southeast, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you guys for getting your tickets and doing all of that. If you want to follow us on social media so you can know about things ahead of time before they're announced on the show and things like that, very easy to do. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, and at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. You can do that. And if you want to be a hero, one of our goddamn heroes. These are the people we do. We talk about these people. Can you believe that they're this amazing? Can you believe that they're this nice to us?
Can you believe I don't know how to spell their names?
This is the conversations that we have. Literally. We'll be like, if we drive from city to city, if we go to Columbus, then we'll drive to Cleveland, and we'll be in the car the whole time going, can you believe that? Man, that's amazing that these people would help us, and holy shit. These are these people. If you want to be one of our producers, you can do that excessively easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or heading over to PayPal and using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, or you can get to both of those links right from shutupandgivememurder.com. But I can't even say it anymore. Jimmy, I want to hear this list because I love these damn people. Tell me who they are, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers, fucking executives are Doug Fields, Katrina Busati, Michael Jones, Alexander, not Andrea. What am I doing? Alexander Pascia.
Italiano, Pasciaccio. Pascaccio.
Hey. Hey.
I can't read it. Jordan Bennett, thank you very much. We'll see you in Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan.
Devin Reznikoff, Bonnie Klein, Ryan Bender, and Hunter Duchesne. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you
for everything.
Amy in Ohio, happy birthday. And Robin Francis turned 50 this month, and she got a new knee. That's a big fucking month. Congratulations.
Wow. Definitely.
Glad to have
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. Morgan Hodakowski, Abigail Cope. No. Abigail Cook, that's what that is.
Very simple.
Karen Hunt.
Simplest name ever.
Christina Bernhardt, Tia Harris, Dylan Irish, Ryan McCain, Joe Tuttle, TJ Mack, thank you, TJ. Maggie Keeshan, what is it, Juwan, or is that Juan? No, what is that, J? Is that a J? Luann, maybe? I think it's Joe. What did I do? Is that a J? Fuck. Rowan?
Sad.
It's really depressing.
Watching a grown man struggle to read his own writing.
Thomas Smith, Kerrigan O'Connor, Kay Zomerley, yes, Martina Liwalonga, Kelsey Jennison, Nick Taylor, Jennifer Britzman, Shelley Rostron, what is wrong with me? Megan Rudis, Christopher Hughes, Micah Shy, what is that? Space Lizard Lucifina? I think that's a Dan Cook.
Thing,
yeah, that's a Dan Cook. Or Dan Cook? It's Dan Cook.
Cummins. Don't do that to poor Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
Dan's a very talented comedian.
I didn't even write his name, so yeah. I just mispronounced it in my own head. Adam Udany, Cheryl Shine, Paige Meglior, Julia Crowley Farinka. I'm just going to go and say yes.
Do it, John.
Kairu, Sophia Gamble, Savannah Bell, Crystal Bunt, Nicole Porter, Nicholas Porter,
Jesus.
Michelle Terry, Ryan Hansen, Joey Painting, Liz Vasquez, Beck and Matt Spence, Jennifer Stalker, Reagan Shaukley, Sydney Cotton, Condon, Wade, yes, Wade Cologne, Peyton Meadows, Devin Williams, T. Squeegee, Joel Musfelt, Bram Verhees, Rebecca Anderson, Lauren Demarath. Yes, Demarath. I've said that one a billion times.
A lot.
Right.
Thank you.
Billy Compton, Emily with no last name, Mariah Menhier, Justin Miller, Kate Hootenluter, that's
Take
what
your
it
word
is.
for it.
Chantel Meacham, Jamie Wistenhofer, Winchester.
Wow. Wistenhofer?
That legitimately is what I saw. Luke Lademan, Gary Howard, got it, nailed it this time. Didn't call him Carly.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for everything.
Gretchen Oswalt, Melissa Honeycutt, Emmanuel Christian, Gabba J. Vizenhot.
I don't know.
I don't either. Erica? No. Ergo Luchamano, Abby Crabble, Leslie Kidd, Alice Sink, Emily Warwick, Michael Costello, Mary Brew, Shannon Russell, Steffi with STEP. Oh no, it's SEPI. Sepi.
Okay.
I don't know. Jeff Chambers, Nancy Graham, Darren Mehall, and Jess Stope. Thank you both. John and Debbie Razkowski, Melissa Days. Yeah, I think. Felicity Stratton, Adrian Perry, Dan McCabe, Bria Gale, Leslie Kidd. I said that. Mike Costello. I said that. I got all those. Next page.
Jesus Christ.
Mary Richards, Tyler Gwill, Brennan Potter, David Albery, Alex Ortiz, Rachel Hilliard Brown, Knight, that's Knight,
okay.
Kyle Avery, Kieran McGuire, Krista Walker, Aaron Valella, David Barnhart, Robin Anderson, Felipe Torres, Retta Ekstrom, Brenna Boone, James Aselta, Julian Hayes, Ashley Vio, Christopher Hart, Larissa Harris, Trenton Brunts, Anthony Canella, Patrick Martin, and all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing.
thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our dead cold hearts. We appreciate it. We really, really do. We're so excited, and we can't wait to see you guys at live shows. We really have a blast meeting you people and just kind of getting names to faces and faces to names. And just people tell us really interesting shit. We meet a lot of interesting people out there that we're just like, I would have never met this person otherwise. And what if somebody wanted to meet you? How could they find you on social media?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and it's been really overwhelming and flattering to hear from you guys, so thank you very much. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name from the show description. That way you're not, struggling to spell Pietragallo.
Right.
So just do that. Find me. Do whatever you want. It's all good. And that said, guys, it's been a blast. We have got to run because we have got to catch planes and get to Ohio.
Right.
So with that said, until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus